What we do here is go back.
Hello. I don't know why I played the fucking start of the happy hour intro. It's not that. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Gotta get down on Sunday. Don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway. Oh, that has gone far too far. There we go. Hello. Yes, we're going to be on with No Justice in just a second. How are we all? Hopefully you're well. I'm alive, and I suppose that's one of the things that is true about the world. What the fuck am I talking about? Hello! Will there be any Wurzels tonight? There will not be Wurzling, as far as I'm aware. Although, to be fair, it wasn't planned last night either, so I can't guarantee it. The stream goes where the stream goes. Warning, Man, Frog and Wes incoming. Oh god, not Wesley. We don't need Wesley. No one ever needs Wesley. What a fucking turd burger. Anyway. How are we all? I hope you enjoyed your Sunday. Whatever absurd nonsense you've got going on. And X or Twitter is so shit that I'm going to have to send that again. There we go. We communicate No Justice and I through the Discord. No, not through Discord. Through Twitter DMs. And Twitter was over capacity, which wasn't a thing that used to happen before the beauties of the Lord and Saviour, who's going to save Britain from the pedo rings, honest. Maybe he'll rope in his friend Ghislaine Maxwell, because she seems to know a lot about it. Last night's stream was excellent, Kev. Thank you, Bilderberg. I mean, you're wrong. You are incorrect, but I appreciate that nonetheless. Thank you.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm in a lovely mood. A lovely mood. How are you doing?
You're high then. Okay, fair enough.
I've just had Nando's, so I'm
You are. Oh my god, you have got the chicken highs. Okay.
Exactly. Who would I be if I'd not had chicken at some point today?
True. And appropriately, at some point, you will get cold turkey. Ayo.
I had my cold turkey and my sandwiches on the train home after Christmas.
Nice. How
are you doing?
Just memes. It's just memes everywhere tonight. I'm very well. And this is the first time we've spoken, isn't it? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed. Did you have a good Christmas?
I survived. That's success for me. I count that as a W. I'm chalking it up, you know. How was your Crimbo?
It was very relaxing. Things are going a mile in a minute in normal life, so I was glad to slow the pace down a bit and see the family, which was nice.
Good. Well, I'm glad you had some time off. How was New Year? What did you get up to New Year?
I went to the pub. Me and my brother and one of my mates. We went to the pub.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's good. Went to the Winchester.
What about you?
Had a pint. Wait for it to blow over.
Indeed,
Classic.
very much so.
I just went to like a house party thing with some friends. It was alright. Again, I survived.
I wish there were more house parties. For some reason, there was house parties all the time when I lived in Manchester. Now I live in Nottingham. Never any house parties. I don't mind. Honestly, I'm British. I like going to the pub. Not going to the pub, right? But nothing beats a good house party where you can choose the music and you get cheaper Brit drinks.
And you'd kind of think the seats are probably cleaned more often.
Exactly.
That's always my issue with both the pub and cinemas. Is like the seats are I don't want to do a germ test on them because they're probably the grossest things ever.
Yeah, like a ring light there would.
No one
sorry,
needs that.
UV light. Sorry.
Yeah, no one needs that. That's
no.
Just it's like the contents of a sausage. Best not thought of. Best just don't think about it. It's fine. It's not going to kill you, but it will gross you the fuck out if you knew.
Exactly, so like chicken nuggets. Because you can get pretty good sausages where it's reasonable quality, but every chicken nugget in existence is made out of like feet and shit.
Yeah, it was the 3 Bs, but was it bones, brains, and balls? Because they put everything into them. It's just the grossest shit you can possibly imagine. Pureed and then put into chicken nugget shaped form.
Exactly. Well, what that does remind me of though is when and how on Jamie Oliver's like school dinners when he did it in the UK, he made chicken nuggets in front of the kids, like took all like the giblets and the bits of the three Bs, grind them up into a paste in front of these British school children, said, "Would you eat these?" And they said no. And then he tried the same trick in America, and all put their fucking hands up. It was so funny. But as Dan Olsen pointed out, it worked either way, right? Because if they say no, we don't want to eat it, well, then it proves that it's nasty meat, even though it's perfectly edible, right? Not to be nutritious or something else, but it's not like dirty food. It's just it's just not exactly appetizing. But even so, then they say, oh, if they don't want to eat it, it's because the food is terrible. And if they do want to eat it, they go, well, obviously the food is terrible, and this shows just how broken American society really is.
True. My favourite little factoid that I remember from Jamie Oliver's thing. Do you remember the turkey Twizzlers thing from years ago when he got all the health food? And you had the amazing image of I think it was a school in like Huddersfield or somewhere, where the mums were buying fast food and like handing it through the school fence to their children.
Yes, I remember that.
It's amazing, right? And it is as described, kids. They literally banned like shit food at the school, and so the parents were doing that. And the beautiful little factoid that I know is that the place they were buying that food from was literally a chip shop called Fatty's.
Incredible scenes. Only in Britain.
Like when you walk into the shop called Fatty's to purchase your food and feed it to your child, does that not say something to you? Does it not twig in your head that maybe this is a bad thing to be doing?
I must say, it's very Yorkshire coded, which is it's the racism you get on this channel.
Exactly, yeah. Because the York. Well, again, I don't think you can be racist against the people of Yorkshire because they're not really human. So it's fine, actually. Anyway, I mean, look, Jeffrey Boycott comes from Yorkshire. Nuff said. Yeah? Nuff said.
I mean, great opening batsman. Probably not a great ambassador for the sport, though, let's be real.
Or for domestic bliss.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting at, yeah.
Let's leave it there.
We do kind of want women to play the sport, don't we?
And the racism is also not great.
When was he racist?
He's been caught a couple of times being racist. Yeah, nothing like, I don't think he's ever gone full N-word or anything, but he's made some peculiar remarks. For a man who has travelled the world, he does not appear to have imbibed anything of the culture of any other place. It would appear.
Yeah, like it is funny because I remember when Sky Sports were doing something about like race and cricket, and they got Michael Holding on, and he did this really, really good speech on Sky Sports. It was really unusual to hear something vaguely progressive on Sky. But I thought Michael, and then on the actual BBC, on like the publicly funded broadcast, we had fucking Jeffrey Boycott.
Yeah, he's amazing. My favourite bit of Jeffrey Boycott was actually him being based for once. It was a game, I think it might even be Nottingham if I remember, and it was around the time of the 9/11 and all of that shit. So we're going back a ways, and he was on commentary and all the rest of it, and he was describing how it had taken like 2 hours to get into the ground because of all these security checks and blah blah blah. And he started going off on this rant about we told Tony Blair, if you go into illegal wars, it's going to happen, isn't it? You know, and all that. And he starts going off on this amazing rant about don't do illegal wars and then we won't have terrorism and stuff. And you can tell that, I don't know who the other person was on the other commentator, but they might as well have been stabbing him in the gut to tell him to shut the fuck up. It just the most amazing like series of words was because he said something about we should stop dropping bombs on cities or something, and then the other person goes, and he's pushed it out into the offside and there's no run. What a response.
There's no run.
What a fucking sentence to say to we should stop dropping bombs on cities. Like fucking mental. It's the most English thing I've ever heard in my life. But anyway.
Love it. I mean, to be fair, that's basically the TMS experience. Is listening to them talk about literally anything other than cricket, interspersed with descriptions of fielding positions.
But yeah, pretty much. I mean, cricket is that. Cricket's just a racist thing that's slowly become less racist over time and survived somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
And classist,
should-
lest we forget, the gentlemen and the players and all of that shite. Um,
What was interesting? What was interesting about the Johnsman the players though is that at least it acknowledged that they should be. There should be space for getting people from working class backgrounds to play the game. It's not like rugby where basically no one from the working class backgrounds even played it to start with.
Yeah, true. Oh, here we go. Right. So Jeff Boycott, I had to type in because I was like, I'm sure I remember him being racist, and he was. The Mirror reported that Boycott told the host Gary Newbond. So he was. This was at a game at Edgbaston. Gary Newbond's a Midlands sports reporter, the guy. At a dinner where some guests had paid £300 for a luxury hospitality package. Quote: my knighthood has been turned down twice. It'd be better if I'd better black my face first.
Oh.
Yeah, suggesting that we hand out things to black people too easily in this country. I think
Yeah, it was two-tier Liz, right?
Yeah. Speaking at an informal gathering, I was asked a question, and rather than my answer, and realised my answer was unacceptable. I loved playing against West Indian cricketers all my life, and I have the utmost respect for them. All right, you cock, shut the fuck up, Jesus. Anyway,
It just because the West Indies weren't so shit.
Yeah, I mean, he was part of the I suppose, is it racist? I don't know. The Blackwash series thing. He was part of that losing team, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Which, by the way, I suppose I have to explain that now. So oh God, watch Fire in Babylon. I'm not going to bother. Just watch Fire in Babylon. It's an amazing thing about the West Indies beating England. It's not as racist as it sounds, although it's probably still a little bit racist. Anyway, I mean, to be fair, all of their players were black for the first time in a long time, because up until, was it 62 or something, they literally had to have a white captain of the West Indian team.
I didn't know that.
Literally.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, God. Here we go. White captain, West Indies. Yeah, and it was like the only white player that would ever get into the team. Because, obviously, because there were like 50 fucking white people in the West Indies.
Exactly.
The Forgotten Story. Where's the... Just give me the fucking rule. Where is it? White captain, West Indies rule. Where is it? For the first 20 years of Test existence, the West Indies were captained exclusively by white players. The Forgotten Story of White West Indian Cricketers. Yeah. Oh, sorry,
Wow.
1953. Apologies. 1953 was the year it was changed. But yeah, they had to have a white man. And it was like the only white guy that would get in the team.
That's crazy. Because actually, basically, I think one of the only kind of white people who's even played for the West Indies in decades was Joshua Da Silva in the modern era.
Yeah, because there are white people there, but like not many. Not many.
No.
Just statistically, it would be like, it'd be like if there was loads and loads of white players playing for the South African rugby team, for instance. That would be a strange thing considering the percentage of the population they make up in that country. Just saying. Or
to be fair, a lot of the white people will just leave South Africa in a temper tantrum and come play for England because there's no quota system. Cough, cough. Kevin Peterson, cough. Isn't it weird how the one who's a massive wanker was the one who who left because of racial quotas?
Crazy, isn't it? Are you suggesting there aren't Scottish people called Van der Merwe? Because I just refuse to believe this, actually. Just like there are loads of very suspiciously South Pacific Island named people in rugby teams in UK as well. No, they're fine. They're fine. The Tuapolotus of Swansea. Yeah, that's a thing. Anyway.
Yeah. No doubt.
Oh, well, Tony Gregg is another one. Although technically he didn't leave because of quotas. He left because South Africa had been banned from international sport. But he brought his racism with him, was racist against some black people, and they fucking spanked him. So, you know, justice.
I didn't know
guess.
that. I didn't know Tony Gregg was racist. Was that like retro racism?
Oh no, but this is the whole blackwash thing. Oh god, I'm going to have to explain it properly now, aren't I? Right. So in the early 70s, the West Indian cricket team, which is the name of the cricket team which represents the Caribbean island nations that are largely Anglophone, although some of them are now French and a bit Spanish. It's complicated. And Guyana on the South American mainland. Right. They play cricket together, and it's basically the only thing they do together as a group of nations, particularly, right? Obviously, former colonial land and all the rest of it. They came over to play England, the mother country, etc., just after independence in the early 70s. And Tony Gregg, who was a white man from South Africa, who'd left South Africa because South Africa had been banned because of racism and apartheid.
Apartheid.
So, and he became the England cricket captain. Now, that's fine, because, like, he couldn't play for South Africa, and he was quite rightly the England cricket team captain, I guess, at that point. He was the best candidate for it. But turns out he brought some of his racial nonsense with him. And what was the exact phrase he used? It was something like, we're going to whip them, or something like that. Hang on.
We are going to whip them.
Yeah, in a South African act, Tony Gregg... Blackwash comments.
So it was Adrian Dittman. That's who it was.
Sorry, yeah, it was Adrian Dittman. Yes. Oh, that was it. No, sorry. Here he said, "We're going to make them grovel." We're going to make them grovel was the phrase he used. Which, like, considering they're former colonial subjects and all the rest of it, it's a bit weird and a bit like. Anyway, that team went on to win that series 5-0 in a complete whitewash. Although, as it was renamed, the Blackwash, because the team were black. And to be fair to Greg, he did do the joking thing of getting on his hands and knees and crawling to go and shake the hand of the West Indian captain in a kind of like, see, sorry about that, fucked up a bit, whoopsie, you know, that sort of thing, which like is good humour, I guess.
It's good humour, yeah.
But still, don't say that. Don't fucking... You as a white man in a South African accent, don't say we're going to make these black men grovel. Don't do it. Like that's... I don't know what... that was pre the days of, like, sportsmen getting fucking, you know, press training and all the rest of it. But still, come on, you know that's wrong. Don't fucking do that. Anyway.
Absolutely.
But like I say, go and watch the film Fire in Babylon. Amazing, amazing film.
Well, I think we should cover some politics, should we?
Nah. We've covered politics from the early 70s. What more do you people want? This is current affairs as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, okay.
To be fair, considering the gerontocracy we live in, it basically is current affairs to a lot of these people.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Joe Biden was in his prime. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. Before we get on to Laura Koonsberg, I have sent you something that, quite frankly, is beyond belief.
Oh no, I've already got this. Yeah. No,
fantastic. You would also plan to cover this because, quite frankly, honestly, there is so much to say about this, but it's just when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke.
It's AI slop. So I was absolutely convinced, like some dickhead on the internet had made this, just some wanker. It's like one of those things you see, and you're like, who is this even for? Like, who makes content? Like, who watches this content? Right? So. We already covered this a little bit on my show, and I presume you have as well. Elon Musk, aka Adrian Dittman, aka the incoming president of the United States, has been calling Keir Starmer king of the pedos. Was referring to Jess Phillips as being an apologist for rape genocide. That's a phrase he used. Anyway. And whilst all of that's going on, the Labour Party decided to release this piece of image, this little compilation of AI slop, for some reason. AI
furry content slop is what the Labour Party believe is going to get them down with the kids, spelt with a Z, of course, because that's what kids like. They like Zs.
Yes.
On the TikToks, on the Clock app.
Yes. Also, notice the Dussy on that one. Just saying.
se maconha segurando. Vai novinha safada relaxando. Vai na pica safada sem vergonha. Vai sentando na
Who is this for? Who is this for?
Like, I thought things as far as politicians and political parties on TikTok couldn't get any worse than Ed Davey saying 1v1 me in FIFA, Keir Starmer. I didn't think it'd get any worse than this, but
Yeah.
actual AI content
I will-
really does take the cake.
I didn't think I'd say this, but I do have to apologise to Ed Davey. I think
Yeah.
I was too harsh on him. His
Absolutely.
was a playful aside in an otherwise serious politician. This is... I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is other than the desperate flailings of a government that do not know what's going on.
I mean, it's just
Not a
a
clue.
media It's a media strategy that no one understands. Like, what the hell is going on? Again, you're right. Who is this appealing to? Because at least with the Ed Davey 1v1 me in FIFA, there are people in there who are taking it in kind of in good spirits and good jokes. And if you wanted to have kind of political messaging that was showing the things you were doing in government, because that's what this is. This is trying to say, look at all these policies that we have. Then surely you do it in a way that people wouldn't think was incredibly fucking minimal effort and also weird.
Just very weird. We don't need the buff animals. I'll put the silence on so we can, talk over it. But like, it's. I don't get it. This is kink stuff. Look at it.
It's very porn.
Hench lion in fucking knee-length cut-offs, feet exposed naturally. Like this is just. This is. It's fucking weird. It's very very strange.
It's all a bit Zootopia, isn't it? And the thing as well, this also, and I'd like to point out there's a serious part to this as well, in that one of the founding principles of the Labour Party is fighting for working people. And I actually believe one of the is Equity as the trade union. Are they affiliated to the Labour Party?
I don't know. That's actors and stuff, isn't it?
Well, it's meant people in the arts, right?
Yeah.
And you'd think that someone who's there to represent art and artists, as part of the labour force, they wouldn't want to prioritise methods of content creation that are there to take away the jobs of artists, which is what AI is for.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, honestly, the only person I think would like this is Tony Blair.
I mean,
it's Tony
that's what it
Blair
comes down to.
and his obsession with AI. That's it. That's who this is for.
Oh, 100%. I absolutely agree with you on this. And remember, another serious point to add to this is that I don't know if you watched the liaison committee just before parliamentary recess over Christmas.
I did, yes.
And one of the questions that was asked in the liaison committee by one of the members of parliament was about the fact that Keir Starmer has all of these links to big AI tech firms. And he wants to give all of this space for AI investment in data centers in the country, which are, of course, first of all, there's the environmental concerns of the amount of energy that they use, which are going to push up demand, which is going to push up a load of prices for energy because demand is higher overall. If we're just throwing energy at data centers, which is also bad for the environment because we're still using fossil fuels to generate at least part of that.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
And then on top of that, he even was asked specifically in the select committee about legislation to protect artists from having their work stolen, where professional bodies, unions representing artists, had said officially, we want the government to put laws in place to stop AI networks from stealing our content. And Keir Starmer could not commit to supporting that kind of legislation because, of course, that would undermine his big business backers in fucking tech bro world who want to be able to cannibalize artwork for their AI slop.
Yeah. Also, good to see that Judy Hopps has changed from being a cop to a nurse. So that's nice.
To be fair, at least there's not a class traitor, but the class traitor is now the dog. It's a grown-up Paw Patrol is what we've got as the class traitor here.
Yeah, exactly. This is also, it looks a little bit like it's taking a shit there, which I don't need that.
True. ACAB does include Paw Patrol. I think everyone should be fully aware of this.
Oh, 100% it does. Yeah. Look, it's weird. Then you've got like business cash furry here, which is nice. Again, this is
And also,
amazing.
Like Unite represents nurses and doctors who are affiliated to the Labour Party. The ASLEF and the TSSA are both rail network unions that are affiliated to the Labour Party. There are GMB represents construction workers who are going to be involved in green energy who are affiliated to the Labour Party. If you wanted to promote all of these different policies that you've got, you could at least get people who represent the working people that you say you represent of those sectors of the economy in your content slot for TikTok. And they can't even find them. They have to AI generate badges to replace them. Some Labour Party.
Also, let's be honest, Keir Starmer is going to cull this badger. There's no way this badger survives the year. This badger is getting fucking done. And also, considering the lack of environmental protections, this rabbit's going to get myxomatosis. 100%.
True.
R.I.P. Judo. Anyway.
I reckon the raccoon is going to get caught up in a hunt. The dogs are going to think it's a fox.
Yeah.
Or is it...
The owl got cancelled for transphobia. We don't need to go into that.
So it was a hedgehog, not a raccoon. Sorry. Yeah, hedgehog is going to get...
Hedgehog gets run over, obviously.
Yeah.
Squish.
Because frozen fuel duty. They're getting people to get in their cars, which means they're going to get run over.
Yeah, exactly. And the bull is going to get sacrificed to Baal or whatever. I don't fucking know. Anyway.
Unless they're gonna turn it into beef burgers and feed it to swans.
Well, it helps them float. What are you talking about?
It's true.
It's fine.
It's true. And then after that cow gets turned into a burger that's going to get fed to a swan, it's also going to have a burger that's going to get waved in Adrian Ramsey's face.
The peak of British journalism right there, everybody. The fourth estate can never get better than that. A beef burger in a man's face and a pint glass full of fucking Lego pieces. Let's go!
Absolutely. My highlight of the year, honestly, was you just it's sitting there dumbstruck going, he's got a burger.
He's got a burger.
Burger man. Burger.
I couldn't. I couldn't. I still can't. Chat. It's ridiculous. Would you remember when we used to have journalists like I don't know, like David Frost would go and interview Nixon about serious stuff and things like that, and now we've got the former chief political correspondent of the BBC waving burgers in motherfuckers' faces.
I've just sent you the link to the clip of you. Okay, it's too funny to not replay again.
Oh God. Oh, you still? Oh, it's on your timeline. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay.
Billion of these burgers are...
He's got a burger. It's very quiet and punctual, Can I just say he's got a burger. Nick Robinson, the serious journalist, has got a burger. He's brought a burger to an interview to wave a burger in the Green Party's man's face. You couldn't have just said 1 million burgers are eaten. You had to bring out a fucking prop and wave it in his face like a cunt. You are a cunt. You are a stupid fucking cunt, Nick Robinson. I stand by every word.
Every year in the UK. Are you saying that to save the climate, we've got to ban the burger, or we've got to make burgers a heck of a lot more expensive?
No, neither of those proposals are in our manifesto. What is in our manifesto is supporting our farmers to produce far more food
but
within
I'm not
the
asking
UK.
just what you put in an election sales document. I'm arguing that the Greens have always argued for eating less meat, so in the end, would it have to be more expensive?
As I say, that's not a policy that's in our manifesto, and our manifesto is about what we want to put forward for this next 5 years.
This is politics. This is politics in 2024. This is the fucking level we're at. No wonder the country's going to shit. We're being led by fucking morons. Waving burgers at fuckers. Oh yeah, if gender comes up, he just starts waggling a cup about. Lots of people have said they don't want these in dressing rooms. They don't want these in public changing rooms. And he just brings out a human penis. He just whips his own cuck out. It's just like, do you see this? Do you see this? You see this item? This is a penis. People have said they don't want this in a girl's changing room. What say you? Is the penis going to have to become a lot more expensive, or are you going to ban the penis? It's a question he refuses to answer, and his silence on the topic speaks volumes.
It really does.
Oh, God almighty. Okay, well, talking of penises, Elon Musk has weighed in to British politics for the last week now. Presumably his coke bender will eventually subside, but for now, he's going on about rape gangs and calling, like I say, Keir Starmer king of the fucking nonces and all of that. And Nigel Farage, and also that he wants Tommy Robinson, a multiple conviction fucking serial criminal, jailbird par excellence. He wants him released because he's a political prisoner, apparently, even though he's literally not.
Because he pled guilty. Even Tommy Robinson doesn't think he's a political prisoner.
Yeah. And they go, oh, he's being kept in solitary confinement. Yeah, because if they don't, he'd get killed. If they put him in general population, yeah. Well, he did the last time he went. I don't know about this time specifically, but like he'll get fucking stabbed. He'll get killed. They're doing that for his own good. It's not ideal. Sure, it's not fucking ideal. If he wants to go into general population, go for it. I'll start building his coffin now, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's fucking dead if he does. Which is, I mean, you can argue is not great, but what else do you fucking want?
Hang on a minute. But I thought all of the brown people who would theoretically be angry with him and start beating up prison, I thought none of them went to prison because the police have gone woke and they refuse to do arrests of brown people because the politically correct will tell them they're racist.
Yeah.
I thought that was the case.
Well, clearly, and obviously, yes. Also,
to quote Partridge for the second time today, but they say prison is very cushy. It's like holiday camp.
It is literally like holiday camp, exactly 100%. No, obviously, it's nonsense, and it was still my favourite piece of nonsense. The second, because this is his third conviction for contempt of court. His second was filming on court property, which he knew he wasn't allowed to do, covering a rape trial, which he knew there were reporting restrictions on. Right? So,
and yet, this is one of the trials that him and his ilk wanted to happen. Right? They finally got prosecutions for these. Correctly got prosecutions for these grooming gangs, and he almost caused a fucking mistrial.
Yeah,
because he had assaulted someone in prison.
Yeah, his reporting on this was literally used by the defendant's lawyers to try and get a mistrial, to try and literally allow those people who we now know are convicted child pederasts, right? They literally raped children repeatedly and are now in jail for that. They would have been able to walk free, at least temporarily, because there would have been a mistrial because of Tommy Robinson's reporting. Anyway, so that was his second trial. But in the reporting for that, he was saying, I'm bringing attention to this because these people don't go on trial. As he was reporting on a fucking trial of those people. Like, what do you mean they're not getting arrested and put on trial? You're reporting outside of the courtroom that they're fucking trying them in. I mean, of course they're going to fucking trial. Like, for me, right, the whole problem is, if you just focus on quote-unquote Pakistani rape gangs, it's the Pakistani that you have an issue with there. It's not the rape of children. Because they make up such a small percentage of the problem that the fact that you're hyper-focusing on that and not everything else just tells me a lot about you as a person. It really does. Quite so.
And also, especially when there was a reporting of essentially police corruption. I've seen some intimations towards the idea that police were getting backhanders from these groups and information about victims was getting passed around between police and some grooming gangs. Yeah. And it's interesting how that's never anything that these people want to talk about. The police are only bad when they're being woke, not when they're being, corrupt or misogynistic, or indeed how they've always been since time immemorial, a group of people who do not give a shit about violence against women and girls. They never have done.
No, absolutely, yeah. Because I'll ask the same people, was it political correctness that stopped them from arresting Rolf Harris? Jimmy Savile? All of those Catholic priests? All of the C of E priests? Or vicars or whatever the fuck? Was it that? Well, was it political correctness that led to Hugh Edwards not going to jail? Even though he was convicted? Like, It's not political correctness. It's the fact that the police, as you say, don't care about the victims. They never have, and they never will. The Crown prosecution system has no real interest in trying these cases. The British establishment have fundamentally let down children and adults to an extent, of course. But let's just focus on children for a second. They've let down children since forever, and they continue to right now. It's got nothing to do with the race of the people committing the crime. All the other people I just mentioned there are whiteoids, and they've been allowed to get away with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the it's the children they don't care about, not the political correctness or being accused of racism. If the police were bothered about being accused of racism, they might stop being racist.
Which we know that they are because of the Casey review.
Exactly. Then they haven't even tried to not be racist. They just try to be better at PR.
Yeah.
So that's the issue there. Probably a bad time to mention it, but we are on a hype train. This a grim timing, but fuck it, we're on the hype train. Thank you everyone for giving me money and all the rest of it. If we get to the level 2 of the hype train, I won't do the usual thing because that would be inappropriate on this juncture, I feel.
Quite so. You'll be very happy. You'll be very happy about being given lots of money. We'll leave it at that.
Yes, I will be gleeful. Anyway,
and on the subject of being given lots of money, thank you $10 for $10 super chat. Sorry, from Kevin Slims. It's amazing how quickly the far right media and reform supporters turn Farage for a foreign billionaire. They have no principles, and it couldn't happen to nastier people. I very much agree. Also, thank you, Grand Dude, for the gift, Kriya Van Broek for the 10 gifted, and Dr. Rapperband for the 5 gifted. That's incredibly generous of the both of you. And there was a Prime sub in there from somebody else as well that I missed. Segue to and appreciate you too.
Yes. So, Nigel Farage, who's been pictured repeatedly with Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and is a part of that milieu of scum. And literally, within the last few days, Elon Musk said that Reform were the only party that could save the UK. Nigel Farage understands the reality that in Britain, not many people like Tommy Robinson. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't hide his power levels well enough to be accepted into the racist fold, and so he's distanced himself publicly from Tommy Robinson and said he would not be welcome in the Reform Party. Basic bitch cuckoldery, of course, to any right winger. And Elon Musk tweeted out within the last few hours, the Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes.
He's been leader for 5 months.
Yeah.
6 months even. Sorry. Yeah. It was June or May that he decided he was taking over from Richard Tice. He's not been leader for very long.
No. But now there's a civil war because some people are happy to turn on Farage and accept Elon Musk as their new daddy. Because that's what fascists want. They just want a daddy. They want someone to rule over them and tell them what to do and how to live.
Inferiority complex is something that a lot of these people will share.
Oh yeah, small PP energy from all of them. And some of them want to stick with Farage because they realise that, like Farage, that no one likes Elon Musk. Elon Musk is about as popular as bone cancer. He has as bad a approval rating in the UK as Keir Starmer, which is saying something because there are venereal diseases that people prefer to Keir Starmer. So, but then Raheem Kassam, who is a former Farage acolyte or former Farage advisor, and I think editor at UK Breitbart,
yes,
responded with, "You're a fucking moron."
I mean, it's broken clocks and all that.
Yeah, it is a little bit like he's right on this one. He's right on this one.
It's interesting. Someone put a joke in the bits messages. Who's worse, Farage or Elon? There's only one way to find out.
Fight! Yeah.
But Elon is worse than Nigel Farage. And I don't think it's close either.
No, not remotely close. That's not one I would even need to consider or think about. Yeah, Elon Musk is potentially one of the most dangerous and disruptive forces in the modern world. He has the money, clout, pull in the media, and will to enact fascist governance. He's literally done so in America in recent times. He seemingly will want to do so here in the UK. And in Germany, he's fucking supported the AfD. Nigel Farage is...
Canada, sports Pierre Poilievre in Canada.
Indeed, yeah. Nigel Farage is, at the very least, geographically restricted to the fact that he only wants to do shit in the UK. So just on that basis, he's not as bad. And also, as we've seen from the Tommy Robinson thing, he's prepared to like play the game in a way that Elon Musk doesn't and doesn't need to, because he has the money to say fuck you to everybody.
And the thing is, I don't think it's necessarily because they're ideologically particularly different from each other.
Yeah.
I do think that Elon Musk is more of a Nazi, right? I think Elon Musk. I don't think Nigel Farage is a Nazi. I just think he's very right wing and a nativist. I think Elon Musk is a neo-Nazi.
Yes.
I said it on stream before, and I'll say it again. I think he's 100% a neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, Elon Musk is a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Like, he's just traumatically stupid. He's a giant child.
Adrian Dittman is a child. Elon Musk is a very serious man. Okay? Please. Let's have it seriously, shall we? Jail free and Starmer Tony. Fact. Oh God, and this is you're such a cock, Farage. Jesus
That's
Christ.
Real cock behaviour.
Right, so this is his response to Elon Musk basically saying you're a piece of shit, you need to fuck off. Wow, this is a surprise. Elon is a remarkable individual, nosh, nosh, nosh. But on this, I'm afraid I disagree. My view remains that Tommy Robinson is not right for reform, and I never sell out my principles. You are one of the most pathetic human beings ever. This is embarrassing. This is one of the ways in which he could genuinely scupper himself as a political candidate. Because one of the reasons in the UK that people like him is because they don't perceive him as a cock. For whatever reason. Yeah, they think of him as some sort of a strong man. He's kind of a British Trump. This is the biggest cock manoeuvre. In a fucking... when he says you shouldn't be leader of your party, he's trying to depose you. Ironically, he's the foreigner coming for your job, Farage, you daft bastard. And he says... Elon is a remarkable individual. I mean, I think that's what he said anyway. I couldn't really tell. He had his mouth full at the time. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Grow a spine.
And you know what's really important about this? Remember during the election debates, I think we watched this election debate together. It was a 7-way ITV one. Nigel Farage specifically said the UK has been sold out to the big corporates and the big banks. He's trying to position himself as the political vehicle for family capital versus corporate capital, bringing things back to old school capitalism rather than corporatism. And here he is with his mouth right down the shaft of Elon Musk, the biggest, most corporate man in the world, literally world's richest man. He owns giant mega corporations, and Nigel Farage says he's remarkable, when if it's true, and Nigel Farage does represent family capital and local small businesses, he would want to rebuke Elon Musk's in the strongest words possible. But of course, Nigel Farage doesn't want that. He does want to be in the big boy club with the rich people, and he doesn't care about any small business owner at all.
Yeah, absolutely. He would have happily become Tory leader if he could. I've no doubt about that. But he realised that wasn't the way in which he was going to be able to do it. So,
100%.
So, with that cacoldery in mind, shall we move across to Laura Kay? Because she's interviewed Nigel, albeit before all of this kicked off. So, we'll wait and see how much of a gob job he gives to the guy who's trying to remove him as leader of the party that he founded.
Once you're placing with Rupert Lowe, the person who said at the Reform UK conference that we should get rid of democracy.
Yeah, that'll work out really well. Elon Musk, like you say, is a childish moron. His current thing is, free Tommy Robinson. So Nigel Farage says, don't free Tommy Robinson. And that's enough. That's enough for him to completely break that bond. Which, by the way, is why he will break the same bond with Trump at some point and be removed. Because that's just the way it goes.
Also, he's fucking irritating.
And he's irritating and annoying and a piece of shit. But he doesn't know, because he's too much of a fucking idiot, that basically that movement is Nigel Farage at this point. If they get rid of it, like, they weren't polling super well, and then he became leader and ran, and all of a sudden they finished fucking third.
Yep.
In the popular vote, I should say. Yeah.
And again, because he knows what he's doing, right? I made this point on stream the other day. All of the Tommy Robinson headbangers, even if Nigel Farage rebukes Tommy Robinson in the strongest terms, they'll still fucking vote for Reform UK. you know full well all of the Tommy Robinson headbangers.
Yeah, of course.
They're all going to vote for him anyway.
Well, they all of the Nazis, they fucking love it. They're like, oh, we have to put her with Nige. He's playing the game with them. Ellipses.
The WEF.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing the game with those people, and they mean Jews. They just mean Jewish people. And so it's like the acceptable level of cuckery in order to get your foot in the door. You hide your power levels until you're able to not have to hide your power levels anymore.
Exactly. Like the whole reason why Marine Le Pen almost became the president of France is because she tried to moderate herself and distance herself from the most headbangeriest of headbanger cranks within the party, right?
Do you mean her dad?
Despite the fact, well, look, basically, pretty much her dad, yeah. But then, of course, everyone really knows who's paying attention that she still represents those kind of politics. You don't just change these views overnight. No. It is absolutely, as you say, people hiding their power level.
Yeah. So, but you know what? If Elon brings down Nigel Farage, that's at least something. I mean, I tweeted out, I don't think he's getting that 100 million. I think that's gone. Like, you can say remarkable individual as much as you like. You're fucking absolute rim job of a man. But you're not getting that 100 million.
Well, that's just because Elon Musk is such a big child that he will only want to donate if they do what he says. He wants to be the big Billy Big Bollocks, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does.
So if Nigel Farage doesn't step down, yeah, as you say, that donation's fucking gone with the wind, innit?
Yeah. So, award-winning journalist Laura Kuensberg.
Yes, indeed, award-winning journalist. Fuck me.
Fucking embarrassing. I mean, honestly, when your competitor is waving a burger in people's faces, is it a surprise she won?
True.
Really? Like, when you're in a field of people who are 3 foot tall and you're 3'1", you are the tallest person there.
You're the tallest Sunak in the room.
True.
Let's get a drink, one sec.
That is an unflattering angle.
Very much so.
Oh my god. He looks like the fucking... what's the alien? Slimer. He looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters. Amazing.
2025 begins. 6 months since Keir Starmer took charge. Who'd have imagined back in July that the Prime Minister with all that power would be under repeated attack from the world's richest man? Elon Musk's barbs online vie with huge problems in real life, in the NHS and beyond. We'll hear from Musk's pal, Nigel Farage, whose political party...
Don't think he's his pal anymore, Laura. I really don't think so.
What a difference like 10 hours makes.
Yeah, literally, this was filmed this morning. Fucking hell.
Also funny, speaking of time going quickly, 6 months, that's 10% of Labour's term in government already gone.
Wow, fuck, that's mad.
Also, thank you £2 for the £2 plows. Turns out a foreigner was after Nigel's job. Yeah, quite so.
Don't steal my fucking jokes, dickhead.
They took our jobs.
Honestly, chat. I'm supposed to steal your fucking jokes, not the other way around. God.
In strength every day. But here live with us in the studio in our first show of the year, the Health Secretary Wes Streeting, talking about...
God almighty, two of the creepiest dead-eyed freaks in Parliament. Look at them. Fucking scum. Jesus.
Well, as much as you hate Wes Streeting, at least that he knows the difference between the Congo and Rwanda.
Well, does he? Do we have definitive evidence that that's the case?
He was actually on the Question Time that we watched.
He was, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
There's a really great fucking side eye that he gave to Chris Philp. That was when it was part of my best of Question Time compilation.
Oh no!
I remembered it when I was doing the editing. I was like, this was too fucking funny.
His big plans for the NHS and the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp. Welcome to you both. Got to do this for a New Year's resolution from you both. Wes Streeting, what's yours?
Well, obviously.
Also interesting, actually. Actually, thank you, Noblini, pointing out that both Wes Streeting and Chris Philp have relevant things on my soundboard. Because of course I've got the "Shut Up, Wesley" quote that you just used from Star Trek. And also on the soundboard is Mick Lynch saying to Chris Philp that he's a liar.
Oh, nice. Well, there you go. Fair play. Okay. All I'll say is you and I have different sound alert likes. You've got relevant British politics stuff. The most recent one I added was an Indian man who's part of the compilation of sports fans reacting very badly to their team losing. is saying in a thick Indian accent, "Dickheads, absolute dickheads."
Love it.
Yeah. So that's
Big
that's the kind of, there's a difference. There is a difference between you and I. I think.
See, one thing is, the thing is, my touch point for Indian swearing is when I watch scam bait videos on YouTube, and you hear the Indian call center scammers calling the scam baiters benchod.
What's that?
Which means sister fucker.
Oh, nice.
In Hindi.
Well, you just got us banned in India. Jesus.
I did.
But also, I think I had 1 or 2 mince pies too many over Christmas. So I think, like many people, be thinking about getting back in shape, or maybe more
Ship
in
shape.
rather than back
Ship
in
shape.
shape.
Ship shape.
Absolutely.
Ship shape. Lovely reference.
To practice what I preach on public health. See how we get on. Ask me in December.
All right,
It's got a D on the end, John.
Okay, but Wes, mine is that you get another bout of cancer. That's what I hope for the new year.
Him and Elon.
Phil, what about
True.
you?
Well, I think, like, personally, I want to do a lot more exercise. Maybe, Wes, we should start working out together.
Oh my
Westminster, who
There's
knows?
Okay, someone write fanfic of that, please. Please.
Like each other.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, we need. I need to see Wesley Streeting shooting ropes over Philps. I need that to happen.
So all I can think of is that Keira Knightley gif from Graham Norton where she's going, wank him off.
True.
There's an offer for you. And also, I want to spend less time on my mobile phone, which is very, very addictive. Yeah, but look, politically, I think just taking the fight to Labour and holding them to account for the litany of lies and broken promises they have left trailing in their wake following the election campaign.
I thought we were going to start off with a friendly note at the beginning of the year, but
It was friendly to start with.
Just a big bout of hypocrisy to start the year.
Goodness
Happy
me.
New Year, Chris.
All right,
really
well,
good to see you.
Settle down.
Honestly, these two need to fuck it out. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there now. There's a brewing sexual tension, and I'm very much here for it.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
it does absolutely feel like the sexual tension is very, very high between the two.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Ufor, for the 5 Canadian. Good chance Trudeau either prorogues Parliament or even steps down tomorrow. We shall see. I just want to say, on the subject, whilst we want to touch one of Canadian politics, fucking Jagmeet Singh is pathetic.
What's he
Literally, just held off on calling an election so that him and his NDP people in Parliament could collect their pensions for being in Parliament for 6 years.
Really?
And then as soon as it gets past that point, now they acquiesce to call election and bring down the coalition. So at the time when the Liberal Party has collapsed because everyone hates Justin Trudeau, the NDP can't capitalise because everyone hates Jagmeet Singh, specifically because he didn't call an election when the government was hated because they wanted to collect their pensions.
Yeah,
It's so frustrating. Like if there's gonna be an election, they have to replace Jagmeet Singh. And I really liked him before now.
Yeah,
Really
this
liked
is
him.
I'll be honest. I have not been focusing on Canada at all. So that's a real shame because he seemed like a cool dude. But
yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating. I don't think it doesn't change his political principles that I agree with him on, because I agree with him politically. I just think that if you're gonna be a politician, know how to do fucking politics.
Yeah.
And clearly he doesn't, because all he's done is go, oh well, we're gonna not collapse this hated government because we want to collect our pensions at the perfect time to be the de facto party to be in opposition to the Conservatives. It's pathetic.
yeah. What's their ship name? Whelps.
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 That's the sound they make.
True.
One more from both of you later in the programme, as well as Nigel Farage. So what was his New Year's resolution?
No, I have said that I'm going to do dry January. But I tell you what, if I get past the inauguration in Washington, that would be a miracle.
I hope you mean as in alive rather than just dry. Because I'd be very happy if you didn't make it past the inauguration. In Minecraft.
Of course.
And And morning, and a warm welcome to you and to 2025. My team at the desk for our first show of the year: Nicola Ranger, the new boss of the Nurses Union, the RCN; Samuel Kasumu, former Conservative number 10 advisor;
It's
and
interesting.
Alan Johnson, former.
There has to be a new leader at the RCN, not a boss, a leader, Laura, because the previous leader is now an MP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the previous leader of the RCN was Pat Cullen, who is now a Sinn Féin MP for Belfast West.
Oh, right, so not in Parliament then. So they could have just carried on then, really. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Like, one of the highest paid MPs in who's elected is John Finucane. And not because it's just because he has to report all of the work that he does when he's not being in Parliament.
Well, exactly, yeah. You could do like a proper 9 to 5 if you wanted to as a fucking Sinn Féin MP. Because what else you got fucking going on? Although, to be fair, they are still allowed I think that they've got offices they're allowed to have at taxpayer expense and the second home in London. Because they can do other things in London as MPs, represent their people, but they just can't enter Parliament. Mad shit.
Labour Minister, Health Home Secretary, and all sorts of things. A warm welcome to my trio for today. Let's start with what is making the news this morning. Well, here at the
Pause one sec. Thank you, Becky Sphere, for the raid. 13 raiders in from Becky Sphere. Appreciate it. Welcome you through to the Justice Stream. We talk UK politics from a socialist perspective, 6 days a week. If that sounds like your thing, please drop a follow. It's free to follow. Everyone in my chat, please go follow Becky Sphere. That's Becky with an I, Sphere, all one word, for climate politics. Over on Twitch, I am here with Kevin Logan, who is also a socialist, also from the UK, who also streams lots of times a week. I don't know whether it's 6 or 5 or whatever.
Something like that.
You should go and follow him. KF Logan 1875 over on Twitch. Do it.
Hello. Anyway, it snowed. Did it snow where you were?
Very, very slightly.
Yeah, we got a bit of snow.
We see we're leading with snow in January because there's disruption all over the country. Plenty of weather warnings in place. This is snowy Leeds. We can show you what's been happening at Gatwick.
Now, you'll notice, dear foreign viewer, that's barely worth mentioning because that isn't really snow. It's a dusting. Whereas in Britain, that's what we call apocalypse. The country shuts down.
All the trains, all the trams.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. We don't. Whereas
lights grounded.
Canada has railway links all year round. They have a fucking railway across Siberia. Across the fucking, they've got railways that run across mountain ranges and all sorts. In Britain, if we get 2 flakes of snow, that's it. We're done. We're shutting down for the week. And
at Stansted Airport too. And this morning, Manchester, Liverpool and Leeds Bradford Airport have all closed runways. And we'll update you on what's going on with all of that at the end of the show. But the papers are a pick and mix today. The Independent on Sunday splashes on the costs of Brexit. The Sunday Times lead is about holes in Britain's defences, and it picks up on Wes Streeting's plans for the NHS. We'll talk about later. I presume you've talked about them going, but I say presume. I watched it, so I don't know why I don't know why I'm pretending like this is a fucking proper show. So anyway, maybe you've covered it. I don't know. No, you've covered them going back on social care.
Yes, 2028 we're going to get an answer on social care.
So another Quango. Honestly.
Another cross-party commission with the Tories that we voted to get out.
Yeah, the Quangocracy remains absolutely undefeated, chat.
Inshallah.
Later, the Express predicts thousands of extra deaths because of delays in A&E. And the Mail front page features another bad opinion poll for Keir Starmer. Happy 6-month anniversary.
Well done, Keir Starmer. You spent so much time trying to court the right-wing press, and the last 2 days of the Daily Mail's fucking headlines have been Keir Starmer, king of the fucking nonces, and now Keir Starmer will be gone in a year. Bravo. I mean, honestly, just laser-focused, pinpoint, forensic governance. You've done extremely well. Well done, you prick.
Love it.
And he only had to purge every decent human being from his party to get there. Yay.
Yeah, basically. Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. And what's funny as well is that we all told everyone this is exactly what would happen.
Yep. Interesting to see the Starmerites going, isn't it terrible the right wing smearing the Labour leader with false accusations? And honestly, in terms of service, I cannot say the thing I want to say about those people, because we will both be shut down if I do. And possibly visited by the authorities.
Potentially. But it's just... I just can't... It's so frustrating, like all the opportunities wasted, but I guess we should be taking this opportunity to try and attack Keir Starmer from the left.
Yeah, fuck him. He's a prick.
Nursery, they may as well say. Let's start though with the three of you. Something really strange has been happening in the last few days, Alan. We've seen repeated attacks by Elon Musk, the world's richest man, political pal of Donald Trump and Nigel Farage, attacking in quite inflammatory terms the Prime Minister and the Labour government over what some people see as inaction over the grooming scandal. What do you make of what he's up to, and what should Labour do about it?
It's Orwellian. That's what it is. I mean, I know George Orwell spoke about 1984, so we're 40 years late to this. But in 1984, we were...
Jesus Christ, did you butcher that, you prick. Fuck me. It's George Unwin's 1985. What are you talking about?
George Formby Grills.
Let's go.
Remember slavery.
And his other book, Animal Factory, which is very good.
Is freedom, ignorance is strength. I mean, there seems to be a lot of
freedom, ignorance is strength. Famously, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, okay.
In this, we've had a public inquiry into grooming. It took 7 years. It cost 200 million. Why is the leader of the opposition calling for a public inquiry?
Especially when her government literally denied the request of Oldham Council to have such a thing.
Yes, quite so.
That literally happened. And I saw people, someone on Twitter attacking Manchester Mayor, who's Andy Burnham.
Andy Burnham, King of the North.
Yeah, for this. And he said, I literally ordered exactly this, like 2 years ago. It's still ongoing. And they were like, oh, so you're trying to cover it up then? No, I literally just told you. There's a fucking ongoing inquiry right now into this. Jesus Christ.
Quite so. And as well as this, you know, for all of Keir Starmer's many faults, he literally was the one who, as director of public prosecutions, a thing that he never mentions.
No.
He actually did prosecute people from the Rotherham grooming gangs.
True, but he also let his good personal friend Jimmy Savile go. Because, as he said, it's good for them. That's what he said. He said that personally. He did, chat. What are you doing? Shut up. This is satire. I'm doing a satire. Please don't sue me, Prime Minister.
When she was in Cabinet, when they made 20 recommendations, none of which have been acted upon. It's a bizarre, strange world. And I would think what Musk is proving is that having lots of money doesn't make you more intelligent about world affairs. It's a strange situation.
And we'll pick up on the calls for an inquiry with West Street.
I didn't think I'd be agreeing with this fucking wanker tonight, but there we go.
Can we get Peep Show's Alan Johnson on next time?
Yes. Take me, Johnson!
And Chris Philp a bit later. But Samuel, you've seen also Conservatives seem sometimes to follow reform, who've been following Elon Musk. I mean, what do you think of this sort of ecosystem in a way? It's all feeding off each other. Is it a concern of yours?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He has one of the largest platforms in the world that he owns, and it can be dangerous in many respects if it's used to amplify.
I don't know, that doesn't sound very free market economics of you. What's going on there?
Not very, it's not very conservative, is it?
No. It's starting to sound like a communoid, if you don't mind me saying.
Information. I think that
have the Conservatives gone woke?
The challenge is whether or not politicians will rise to how you combat Elon Musk. And Nigel Farage, in what he has done recently around his response to Tony Robinson's messaging being amplified by Elon Musk.
Tony Robinson? What? That's a different person.
Also a cunt.
Also a cunt, but in a very different and entirely legal way.
Vote for change, vote Labour.
How dare you have a go at a national treasure? Okay?
I will absolutely have a go at a national treasure right here, right on bloody stream.
Outrageous.
was quite strong. I think Labour probably don't quite have a fully formulated plan around how they respond to Elon Musk, but I don't think the Conservatives do either. I think the challenge for Kemi Badenoch and the Conservatives is how can you get to a point by the time we get to the next election where it feels like it's Kemi versus Keir, because right now it feels like it's Kemi versus Nigel Farage, and that's not helping her.
And we'll hear from him in a few moments, but we're also going to talk a lot today about the NHS. And of course, the government is publishing lots of new plans for the NHS in England. But Nicola, give us a glimpse of what's happening right now in wards and corridors often around.
Also, would be no reason to lock Baldrick up, because he'd be able to escape, because he has a cunning plan.
Cunning plan, yes, indeed.
I thank you.
Country.
Yes, thank you. It is extremely difficult, and it's a very challenging winter, particularly with flu. 5,000 cases a day. So flu and the other viruses are causing a real...
Oh, no, it isn't. There you go.
...challenge. This is particularly difficult this winter, though, because wards and departments are already escalated into inappropriate areas all through the summer. So June, July, August, all through the year, we've seen patients in corridors, both in A&E and in wards. So therefore, it's made it extremely difficult with an added clinical operational pressure, because there's nowhere to go. So it's extremely difficult at the moment.
OK, we'll pick up with Wes Street and the Health Secretary on that.
Yeah, apparently his cunning plan now is just to do exactly what the Tories were doing, and then everything will work out fine, honest. Maybe Baldrick literally, not Tony Robinson, maybe literally Baldrick is doing the comms for the Labour Party.
I mean, maybe that's what AI is.
It's Baldrick.
This is in a box marked computer.
Yes, the internet. Yes.
What's Jen doing with the internet?
The programme. But let's focus then on Nigel Farage and reform, because since bagging a handful of MPs in the election, the party now says it's bigger than the Conservatives, hitting, they say, yesterday, more than 170,000 members. Both Tory and the Labour Party are nervous about what Mr Farage is doing and why he seems to be pulling in so much support. As we've been talking about, in recent days, he's repeatedly attacked the government over what's become known as the Grooming gang scandal. Dreadful abuse of young girls by groups of men of mainly Pakistani origin that the authorities...
Which he would know a lot about, considering his friendship with Ghislaine Maxwell.
True. No one likes to mention this.
Why focus on the very small problem of Pakistani grooming gangs and not the much larger problem of the Epstein client list? Elon.
Quite so. Also very interesting how he's very, very open about how much he despises Pakistani men, yet no one dares bring up the time when he said that it was the actual truth that Jewish people were engaging in anti-white or dialectical anti-whiteness.
Yes, and that they were also that he had no sympathy for Jewish people who'd suffered anti-Semitism because, quote, Jewish people had been importing people from the third world who were anti-Semitic in order to replace white people.
And that is Judeo-Bolshevism.
Literally.
That the Nazis said.
Literally, yes. Yeah. Anyway, Mandelson question mark. Yeah, I think Mandelson would appear on that list as well. But he's going over there to spend time with Elon Musk and Donald Trump and presumably reminisce about times on the island.
Presumably.
Allegedly.
These did little about, sometimes ignored, before investigations and some inquiries in recent years. But Farage has been packing venues around the country, like at the racetrack in Chelmsford in Essex yesterday, where I spoke to him and some of those giving up their weekend to listen to his speech.
The Reform Party's a breath of fresh air, quite frankly.
Why'd you say that?
Because they're saying what the people want to hear. That's what we want. We want to move on. We want progression. We want more finances coming into this country.
I feel angry. I'm feeling emotionally angry. Actually trying to talk to you and keep my composure.
Yes. Oh my God, that man has body parts in his fucking house. There's no way he doesn't. There's no way this man has not killed and will fucking kill again. 100%. Oh, I'm struggling to keep my composure. The thoughts, they're taking over again.
Oh, sorry. Plows asks, is it true that Pakistani women were overrepresented in grooming gangs? There was an article by The Guardian that essentially said that there was a big study done into child exploitation, and there was no convincing data that showed that any racial group was particularly represented.
Yeah, roughly speaking, the racial and religious groupings are roughly what they are in the population. There isn't really a particular issue.
Not an issue.
I mean, the race specifically of the people is not an issue. The fact that such people exist is an issue, sure.
Yes, exactly. Maybe we should be equally concerned about people who commit CSA regardless of their race.
Exactly, and maybe not make them president of the United States.
Although it's interesting, again, as well pointed out in chat, you know what trait a lot of these people share? The vast majority, right? 95, 99%, whatever it is, men. Overwhelmingly, child sexual assault is committed by men. Adult sexual assault is committed by men. Violence of all kinds is committed by men. Why don't we ban men? Should we have mass deportations of men?
Well, we need to stop importing men until we find out. We need extreme vetting until we find out what's going on with men.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically cisgender men, yes. Although don't say cis, that is a slur. Please, Kieran.
True. But it's only a slur on the free speech platform X, the Everything app.
Well, did you see on the Free Speech and Comedy is Now Legal app, X, the Sandford Police parody account, which Sandford is the fake town in Hot Fuzz. So it's
Sandford, Gloucestershire.
Exactly, it's not a real thing. Anyway, they jokingly said that someone said that they should arrest Elon Musk. A playful bit of banter on the Comedy is Legal platform, to which they said, looking into this, right, which is one of the things that Elon Musk replies to racist shit. It's very funny. Anyway, that got banned.
Free speech.
So much free speech on the Free Speech and Comedy is Legal app.
Absolutely. Free speech, not here.
True.
Lots of people feel at the moment, and I don't think there's anyone else that is doing that.
It's Nigel Farage for now. Arguably, it's already got broader than that. I think certainly by 2029, this will be as he says, a political revolution.
Well, then
See, Nigel Farage now, Hitler tomorrow. That's the plan. That's the plan. Okay. Nigel Farage is the acceptable cuckoldery in the short term to deal with them. That's literally the plan for these people.
Sat down with Mr. Farage himself. Some of the people here we've spoken to this afternoon, though, seem to be coming to you because they're very angry. They're very angry about the state of the country. Do you think that's what it's about?
As they should be. As they should be. The reopening of the debate around they call it the grooming gang scandal, but it's not. It's the mass rape scandal. I just think people ask themselves...
Yeah, because if we talk about grooming, we would talk about Elon Musk's dad, who groomed his sister-in-law and then impregnated her. So that Elon Musk has a brother who's also his uncle.
I did not know that.
Literally true, yes. I think it was his second marriage. He had a stepdaughter who he then groomed and impregnated as well. Yeah, or we'd talk about the fact that Elon Musk has literally sexually assaulted at least 2 of his employees. One he gave £250,000 to silence, and one he tried to bribe with a horse.
Oh dear, it shouldn't be funny, but it always is.
Yeah.
What has happened to our country?
Also, just as a brief aside, I could take a campaign to protect women and girls a lot more seriously if he didn't sit next to a person who was convicted of repeatedly kicking his girlfriend.
Quite.
Just a thought.
How could this possibly have happened? Why did everybody want to cover it up? Why has there been no full public inquiry? People are angry about that, yes, and they're right to be. Absolutely right.
Interesting. Interestingly, he says, well, there's going to be a full public inquiry because, of course, there have been plenty of public inquiries, but what he defines as full is the fulcrum there, right? It doesn't matter how many actual things that get done previously, because they have been done before. There have been investigations and inquiries and things like that. But if they're not full,
Yeah.
If it's not doesn't meet his definition of full, then the government has failed, and they're rape apologists. Sorry, genocide rape apologists.
Yes, which, by the way, is just another piece of racism added to the mixture, because they think that they're specifically targeting white girls in order to impregnate them and therefore kill off the white race.
Indeed, that's exactly what Elon Musk means when he agrees with people who say that Jewish people are importing foreigners to undermine the white race.
Literally, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is
Oh,
a
and just
foundational theory. It's a foundational Nazi theory.
Yeah, just to clarify, when I said that he sits next to someone who kicked his girlfriend, one of Nigel Farage's MPs is a convicted domestic abuser. Yes.
That's what the court documents say, that he he kicked his girlfriend multiple times.
Indeed. Also, again, worth just bearing in mind from these paragons of virtue that the source of information Nigel Farage went to for the recent race riots that took place was a person currently under house arrest for being an international sex groomer and trafficker.
Who's this?
Andrew Tate.
Oh, yes.
So, he really cares about the women and girls, though. He does. Why would anyone doubt that?
Yeah,
It's a joke.
Absolutely. He is the woman defender. He's the defender of women.
He is the defender of all the WOMs. This is true.
Very, very true. And it's
But also,
interesting how, genocide in Rwanda, it's hundreds of thousands dead. Genocide in Germany, 7 million, 8 million dead.
6 million-ish Jewish people and about 11 million total.
Yeah, absolutely. And genocide in Palestine, 45,000 dead. Genocide in Britain, brown people move in next door.
Black person in chip advert.
Black person in chip adverts. Oh my god!
It's
literally
a thing.
Reference.
I love it because that is black genocide. That is white genocide. It's literally just a black person or a brown person in a film or a TV show or something, and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They're doing advert genocide.
Like, are you saying specifically they should not try and sell chips to black people? Because that's all they're doing is trying to sell. When I say chips, by the way, I mean fries for Americans, like elongated potato fried in fat or whatever, or in the oven, right? It's just a black person in a television advert, you fucking freaks.
Well, it's just what happened when people got mad about the Jaguar advert, and I'm just like, stop defining cultural worth by what you see in fucking adverts. Like, it's fine if you have a commodity fetish, but keep it in the bedroom.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Don't parade your commodity fetish out in public. It's not becoming.
Exactly. Look, I don't mind you being legal, okay? But don't put it in our faces. Do not throw it down. Do not try and teach my child your fucking perversion. Okay?
Angry economically. We are getting poorer. If you look at the last 8 quarters, GDP per capita is falling in 6 of them. And it coincides with a period of record
Nigel,
net
you have
legal
spent
migration.
more time at the home of
mass
Trump,
immigration.
and they pissed
Okay,
more
whoa.
becoming
Nigel. It coincides, does it? You might want to Google the meaning of the word coincidence.
Yes, you might do. But as Kieran points out, and thank you for the bitty bits, Nigel has spent more time at the home of Trump, a rapist, than in Clacton.
True.
Like, most MPs don't need to take a photo to prove that they've been to their constituency. Most don't. Nigel does.
Tough for young people to get a house. Not only makes it very difficult to see a GP, not only makes our roads and infrastructure struggle to cope, it's making us poorer. And I think the anger isn't directed at the Labour or...
You know what makes our infrastructure and roads and things less able to deal with the increasing population? Lack of investment. Wonder who's to blame for that?
Pakistani migrants, probably, or something. But definitely not white people in Westminster. No.
No, absolutely not. Although it's interesting, when the roads and houses that we did build, mostly built by Polish people.
But they're white now, so that's fine.
It's true.
They've been accepted into the family of whiteness, because that's totally a real thing.
Yeah.
Although apparently the Ukrainians are about to be dropped from the family of whiteness, so we'll wait and see.
Conservative parties. I think people increasingly regard them as a uni party. So you're right, they're coming to us because they're angry, but they're not coming to us to stick 2 fingers up to the establishment. They're coming to us because they think we've got the courage to do what's necessary to to turn this around.
But what do you plan to do with that? I mean, what's your dream scenario for 2025?
2025, it's to build the structure of the party, and since...
Also, him trying to pivot by saying they're not sticking two fingers up at the establishment, again, I think he'll lose a lot of support with that, because his people are doing that. If he starts doing this thing where he's going to pretend to be like a part of the establishment in order to try and get more mainstream, he will lose a lot of support.
Yeah.
It's really August of last year. We've tried with nothing to build branch structure, to put in place a very rigorous, and I mean extremely rigorous, vetting procedure for candidates at all levels, because that was the big failing, of what we had at the last election. Huge failing, no question about that. 2025 was about getting that machine actually working, to start to win some...
Okay, but it was a failing, but you could also kick out the guy who did the domestic abuse, if you really cared.
That's true.
But you doesn't have to remain a Reform MP. You're the leader. You could kick him out.
Apparently, on the membership form, when you sign it in, it literally asks you, "Have you ever been a member of the BNP or the EDL or the National Front?" It's quite funny.
Yeah. I wonder why you have to put that in place, Nigel.
Yeah. Why are you asking that question? It's a bit weird, isn't it? What's the purpose of this?
Our ultimate goal, and I'm not joking, is to win the next general election.
You say you've done it with nothing. You have had a very useful thing, the support and the oxygen of the support from someone who's on his way back to the White House, and Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who just happens to also own one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. Now, you mentioned there people's anger over the grooming scandal, as it's known, and it is well understood now that there were failings over many, many years. There's no question about that. Everybody understands that that has taken place, and nobody would excuse what has happened for a second. However, your political friend, Elon Musk, has made pretty outlandish claims about exactly what happened there. And he wrote online that the Prime Minister was complicit in the rape of Britain. Is it acceptable for the world's richest man, with a friend on his way back to the White House, to spread those kinds of misleading and what many people would think are pretty offensive claims online?
Well, you either believe in free speech or you don't. Now, free speech has its limits.
She said, is it acceptable? Not should it be legal? No one, I think, is suggesting it should be illegal. Is it okay for him to say that? You're a bullshitter.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that it's poisoning the discourse? Do you think it's going to lead to positive utility? Whether you believe in free speech or not, you can still answer the question whether you think it's good or bad. Just because you think it's bad isn't in the implication that you want it banned.
Yeah.
But of course,
Obviously, inside.
Go on.
In these free speech weirdos' worlds, I want to bang on about it, or quote unquote free speech. They don't actually know what it means, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. The thing that they hate is being criticised. They want the right to not be criticised.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
They don't want free speech. They want consequence-free speech.
Exactly.
Which is impossible, and by the way, means that I don't have freedom of speech. If I can't call you a racist for saying racist things, what that is not free speech. That's just you being a fucking fascist.
Yeah.
Being perhaps the clearest example of what's not acceptable. Remember, before Musk came along and bought Twitter, free speech was dying on social media. And if you criticise the lockdowns that were happening in this country, your accounts were being suspended.
And now, if you criticise Elon Musk, your account gets shut down.
And also, were people's accounts getting shut down just for criticising lockdowns? That seems like some very carefully worded language there.
Yeah.
I think what happened a lot of the time, there were some social media networks, especially YouTube, that deleted COVID conspiracy information because, people might die if people are fed misinformation about a very dangerous pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Again, there are arguments either way as to YouTube having that level of censorship, but none of this at any point is an affront to free speech, because at no point has any government or state put people in prison for it.
Yeah.
Musk describes himself as a free speech absolutist. Now,
which is an absurd and childish notion, even if it were true, which it clearly isn't.
Cisgender.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what he's referring to there specifically is that in 2008, Keir Starmer had just been appointed as Director of Public Prosecutions. And
Whoa. Where did you get this fucking scoop from? What?
Shocking.
He was Director of Public Prosecutions. Wow, he kept that fucking hidden, didn't he? Probably national secret or something. Yeah.
There was a case brought before them of alleged mass rape of young girls that did not lead to a prosecution. I don't know the rights and wrongs of that any more than you do.
But the point,
but if you believe in free speech,
hang a minute. Doesn't the CPS only engage in prosecutions if they believe that there's at least a reasonable chance of getting a conviction?
Yes, that's basically the determinant factor. Yes.
So if they don't think that they have the evidence,
yeah, and if they don't have the evidence, it's either there isn't enough evidence or the police did a bad job.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying the CPS doesn't make mistakes, because I'm absolutely certain they do, but
like not prosecuting Jimmy Savile.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, right, you can't prosecute him because he was his good friend. They were having dinner together at the time, so it was fine.
Exactly. They were busy playing balls.
True.
They're allowed to have an opinion.
But as you just said, free speech does not have a completely unlimited bind.
No.
Is it acceptable? So I'll just ask this again, because Elon Musk seems to be very busy making these kinds of very provocative claims about British politicians. He said Keir Starmer was complicit in the rape of Britain. He said that Jess Phillips, who's a government minister who's worked her whole career helping victims of abuse, he said that she was a rape.
Really? You little frog cunt. To be fair, she has done that. Really? Yeah, look, I hate fucking Jess Phillips, and I'd be very, very funny when she loses her seat at the next election. Bye, Jess. But she has been an advocate for rape victims.
100%.
She does the thing, and to be fair, she does it every year, where she'll read out the victims of gender-based murder in Parliament. Literally reads out the names, the long ass list. It goes on for quite some time. It's fucking grim.
Yeah,
but she cares.
There are plenty. There are myriad criticisms of the career of Jess Phillips. I have made plenty of them. But to try and claim that she doesn't stand up for women who've been victims of violence is just completely untrue.
Yeah. Whereas this little cunt sits next to a domestic abuser and thinks that's just fine.
Exactly. Like, if we're going to talk about MPs, new political MPs who have histories of failing women and girls, you might want to look to your members of parliament.
Yeah, you might wish to look in the mirror first.
Because James Murdoch is standing behind you.
Yes, true.
Apologist. This afternoon he said that she's a wicked witch, that she is pure evil. Is it acceptable for somebody with Elon Musk's platform to say those kinds of things?
I tell you what, those on the left have thrown these sort of jibes at the right for many, many decades, and we'll go.
Yeah, and you've moaned about that as if that was a bad thing. So you think it's a bad thing, right? So you'll condemn it because you're a consistent and honourable, principled person, right, Nigel?
Yeah, of course you will.
On doing
but
so.
I'm asking you about the specific
I would say this
thing. Is that acceptable?
If it turns out, I'm going to caveat this. If it turns out that Keir Starmer, as Director of Public Prosecutions, did, in effect, not prosecute a case for fear of what it would do to community relations, for fear that it would provoke the charge of racism. Well,
for which there's no evidence, by the way, at all.
If that's the case, then he is open to be criticised. And we all criticise in our own way. Doesn't mean that I would... And by the way, the fact that Musk supports me and supports reform doesn't mean...
Does he, Nige? Does he support you? Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
Yeah, again, very, very funny to me that this was recorded this morning, and then in single numbers of hours later, Musk is calling for him to leave the position as the leader of Reform UK, ostensibly over a disagreement over whether or not Tommy Robinson should be allowed into the party.
Yeah.
Mean, as two grown-ups, we have to agree with everything the other says.
But the evidence actually from Keir Starmer...
Well, actually, it would appear that was a very one-way opinion, because he was under the expressed opinion that you did have to agree with everything he believes. Otherwise, he will call for you to be removed. Nige.
Exactly. 100 grand slipping away, Nige.
100 million?
100 million, yeah, sorry. 100.
Yeah. 100 grand is fucking nothing. Vapors money, nothing.
Peanuts, yeah.
At the Crown Prosecution Service was actually he put in place special...
Which is why someone should give me 100 grand here on Twitch or YouTube.
Absolutely. Kev, where's Kev's sugar daddy? Let's go.
Let's try.
Chop.
As prosecutors to deal with this kinds of problem. He did prosecute many cases like this. Now, as we've discussed, nobody would deny that many vulnerable girls were appallingly let down by people across the piece. But my question to you again is, I think, as a senior politician, as somebody who wants to get to
I really don't think let down is an acceptable way of putting this. I mean, it's as if, oh, well, it's all a little bit of a pity. No, what happened was absolutely, truly be awful in a way that we ought to be actually ashamed of. Ashamed of, in every way.
But the question here that I'm asking you is not about what happened in the grooming scandal. As you rightly say, everybody will agree that it was appalling. The truth about that came out over a period of many years. But is it...
Drip feed, drip feed, drip feed. No big, full national public inquiry. Jess Phillips has denied that. The Conservative administration before equally denied that.
But the question that I'm...
And by the way, our American friends, and Musk is one of them, look at what...
Is he? Nige? Are you sure about that? He's one of your friends. Oh, billionaire friend.
Oh, friend. Oh, richest man in the world, friend. Oh, friend.
Disbelief.
But there is a difference, is there not, between expressing a view and circulating claims to millions of people with a megaphone that Musk has that are misleading and offensive, saying that somebody was complicit in the rape of the country. And
I don't know the truth of what happened in 2008. Let's find out.
So you think it's acceptable for somebody to say that the British Prime Minister was complicit in the rape of the country?
I believe in free speech, even if what people say is offensive. If you find it offensive...
That's not what...
Okay, so I can make accusations about you then, Nigel. I could say, for instance, hypothetically, that Nigel Farage fucks dogs. And that's fine. I should be able to do that because, I mean, who knows? I don't have definitive evidence. We need to have a national inquiry into why Nigel Farage may or may not have been fucking dogs. Like, come on, don't talk shit, mate. You threaten to sue people if they say you've got slightly fewer members than you fucking claim. So don't talk shit about how you support freedom of speech in some absolutist sense, because you definitely don't.
But yeah, the question of whether Nigel Farage fucks dogs or not, some people have said that he does. I don't know, but we should certainly ask some questions.
We should. I don't know the truth of it, and that's why we need to have a full national inquiry into what's being referred to as by some people as the Farage fucking dog scandal.
Exactly. It's just what I've heard some people refer to it as. I'm not saying that such a scandal exists or not, but I have heard other people say this, and if that isn't reason to scrutinise these claims further, I don't know what is.
Exactly. It's not just that justice is done, it's that justice is seen to be done. And the people out there who are claiming that Nigel Farage has fucked dogs don't feel satisfied that this has been thoroughly explored enough. We need a national, full inquiry into Nigel Farage fucking dogs. Fact.
Most people find it offensive. Would I rather live in a world where we're free to cause offence than a world in which free speech and debate gets shut down? I know which of those two I prefer.
But would you tell Elon Musk that he is wrong? So I know you've distanced yourself from him.
No, because even when Nigel Farage is being cucked out by him, you'll still go, oh, he's a lovely man, aren't he? He's a wonderful individual. He's wonderful. I just slightly disagree with him on this, but he's lovely. Please don't take the money away. No. Fucking embarrassing clown.
His comments about Tommy Robinson.
Do you know what? Real friends, when they meet face to face, have conversations, and they agree to agree, and sometimes they agree to disagree.
And that's how you can tell that Nigel Farage and Elon Musk were never really friends.
First of all, true, and second of all, thing is Nigel, is that at no point have any of my friends in the pub tried to claim that the Minister for Safeguarding was a supporter of genocide rape.
Yeah.
On a platform where I have to hundreds of millions of people whilst existing as the richest person in the world. My mates down the pub don't do that. So I get to have a drink with them and it's not a problem. You, however, are the richest man in the world.
Yes.
And that is what open society and free speech is all about.
Ah, he said open society. He said open to Soros. He's a Soros cock.
There you go.
Controlled opposition, Soros cock, confirmed.
There we go. 100%.
See, it's fun doing conspiracies. It's lovely. You can just make up any old shit. Why haven't we had a national inquiry into why Nigel Farage fucks dogs on behalf of George Soros? Why?
And, exactly, there should really be a national to find out whether or not that statement is indeed true or not. Because, again, unless we have an inquiry, we don't know either way.
Exactly, yeah. And people just don't know. They need to have these... Look, if he's innocent, what's he got to hide? You know?
Exactly. Some people are claiming, again, I'm not saying that I've claimed this or that it's necessarily true, but some people have claimed, and it warrants an investigation, that Farage has wanked off to the police dog in the Labour AI video. some people have said that. I'm not saying that's true, because I don't have any evidence for it. But unless you have an inquiry, nationally, funded by the taxpayer to the tune of millions of pounds, how can we know for sure?
True. I hope he timed it well as well, because the thing is, if you let it go over and it goes over to the fucking the bunny in the thing, that's gay. Like, why would you can't do that? No, that's terrible. If it's the police dog, it's straight, but if it's a rabbit nurse.
It's Judy hops after a career change.
Exactly. That is the gayest shit imaginable. You need to be sterilised. You people are perverts.
You or anyone in your team said to Elon Musk that his calls for Tommy Robinson to be released from prison, a convicted offender, somebody on the far right who you yourself worked very hard to distance yourself from. Have you told him that he's wrong about that?
I think you're missing the point. The point is the fact that he supports me politically and supports reform doesn't mean I have to agree with every single statement he makes on X. And I think you're getting bogged down in this. You know, I will, at the inauguration, have a conversation with him on a variety of things.
I can't. Oh, he's going to go to the inauguration now, and Elon's called for him to be fucking fired. That's amazing. Honestly, I hope he tries to shake his hand and he just completely does. He just blanks him.
Puts his thumb on his nose and wiggles his fingers about.
Yeah. And then goes, you got ratioed, I'm the Doge, and then skibbity rizzes off stage or something, yeah.
No, that's too new, you know. He's going to say it was top keck, is what Elon will say.
Well, he literally, in the year of our Lord 20 and 24, he changed his name to Kecius Maximus. You are the most boomer cunt imaginable. Get in the bin.
It's so embarrassing. Oh my god, can we not have adversaries who aren't just fucking genuinely embarrassing?
Amazing.
But I think the media are getting too hung up on this. You know, frankly, what he says about other people, what his views on electric vehicles are, or whatever it may be, isn't relevant.
But
hang on, whoa, what do you mean? Okay, dickhead. I don't like Elon Musk, but I would suggest that one of the largest manufacturers of electric vehicles in the world, his opinion on electric vehicles actually does matter. Of all of the I don't care about his opinion on virtually anything else, but surely at least that you chose the one thing in the world that he does actually do, which is make electric vehicles. Electric vehicles that explode, but that's not the point.
He pays other people to make his electric vehicle.
Well, with the usual caveat of capitalist fucking excess labour value stealage. Yes, but yeah, he his companies manufacture such vehicles. So that's the one thing upon which his opinion sort of does matter. Actually, his opinion on fucking Rotherham is irrelevant.
I don't think he even knows where Rotherham is.
No, he doesn't know where fucking Britain is. I guarantee, if we did unmarked map, no chance. I love looking at those unmarked map results, especially from America, because there's a brilliant one where it's if you get unmarked map and you get like 1,000 Americans to put a dot somewhere on Earth to where they think a country is, right? And the one for America is brilliant because loads of them put America as Russia. They think America is Russia. What the fuck? What? Did the Cold War not happen? Did that just not exist? Did you not learn what Russia looks like? Loads of them, dickheads, put it on fucking Antarctica. They think America is at the bottom of the earth and is white.
I mean,
amazing.
They just want it to be. They just wish it was white.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a wish rather than anything. Yeah. It's a glimpse into the future. Grim.
I suppose what I'm asking you about is whether you, and I know you're somebody who cares about politicians' safety, for example, you and I have discussed that before. You've been the target of abuse yourself on many occasions. It's a straightforward question. Do you think...
He's not been a target of abuse. He just gets mobile milkshake baths. And that's fine. What's wrong with that? Come on now.
It's acceptable for a government minister to be accused of being a rape genocide supporter, being called pure...
Oh yeah, the people who mix up Italy having a border with Turkey.
My God, that moment was incredible.
Like the former Home Secretary and one of the leading forces of modern British conservatism.
Again, like, I swear down, like 90% of these people are just fucking stupid, and the only reason they're in the position that they're in is just because they had rich parents who sent them to private schools. They got connections.
Yeah.
Like, she's a fucking idiot.
But she said
posh
she
voice, expensive education. That'll get you way further. Posh voice, expensive education. Don't need to have any skills or be talented or intelligent.
Yeah, but she said she'd been there. So what wall did she go to? I'd love it if it was a little Great Wall of China, and they just went, we're in Turkey. Yep. Yeah, no, we're just in Turkey.
It's her favourite wall, which is the wall along the West Bank.
Oh,
the one that keeps the Browns out.
Yeah, fair call actually. Yeah, because she is a massive Zionist. That is true.
Evil.
Yeah.
And by the elected Prime Minister of this country to
These are very,
rape.
very tough terms. You know, if you believe they're insightful, if you do believe they're insightful, then they go beyond the line.
But do you think they've gone beyond the line?
You know, in public life, tough things get said.
Oh, you're such a cock, mate. You're such an embarrassing cock. You've got to go one way or the other. You either come out and say, this is fucking disgusting, he's an idiot, or you go, no, fuck it, I need his money, and just agree with him. Doing this half-hearted, like, politician's answer doesn't suit you at all. It doesn't play into your brand at all. No one is won over by this. The mainstream aren't going to accept you, and your fucking supporters can see through this bullshit.
Also, very funny to me that for some reason Laura Koonsberg has decided to actually try and tweet an answer out for something.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, she again, a journalism has broken forth. Yeah. Liz Truss thought Rostov-on-Don was in Ukraine. God.
Yes, she did. It was two. It was like the Rostov and Voronezh oblasts she thought were in Ukraine.
Genius.
Because Sergei Lavrov, an official diplomatic meeting with her when she was foreign secretary. I know, right? Fucking incredible.
Incredible.
Literally, she was asked by Sergei Lavrov, "Do you recognise Russia's sovereignty over Rostov and Voronezh oblasts?" And she said, "We will never recognise your sovereignty over these oblasts." And he was like, "They're in sovereign territory of Russia."
They're literally in Russia, yeah. But thankfully, that particular foreign secretary didn't go any further up the chain of command and held no high office after that point, because that would be really embarrassing if, say, for instance, she became prime minister or something. That would be awful. Jesus, what a terrible shithouse of a country that would be.
Exactly, it would be really, really embarrassing, wouldn't it? And the thing as well is that it's fine when you're a Tory. Doesn't matter. Liz Truss can do that. Laura Trott can essentially not have an idea of how numbers work. Suella Braverman can say that Italy has a land border with Turkey, and she fucking does some memes on Twitter, and then it goes away. If that was Diane Abbott,
they still go on about.
Never hear the end of it.
They still go on about that one time she muddled her numbers up a little bit on the telly, like fucking 12 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Or she drank her Pims on the fucking train when it was fine. What? Who cares? Fucking idiots.
They get said by both sides of the debate. You're right, this man happens to be the richest man in the world. But equally, the fact that he's bought Twitter now actually gives us a place where we can have a proper, open debate about many things.
But not being cisgender or transgender, obviously.
I mean, to be fair, at least Nigel Farage is engaging in Elon's favourite sport, which is misgendering. Sorry, in dead naming.
Dead naming,
In
yeah.
dead naming.
Because it's X, it's not Twitter, is it?
It's the everything app. Come on, get with the times, Nigel.
Embarrassing. You've let yourself
Good
down.
freeze frame.
It is an amazing freeze frame. His teeth are literally grey. How? How are they that? Like, usually if they're rotten or something, it's like yellow and green or whatever. But this is... His teeth are like grey. The fuck is that? Smokers' teeth are usually like brown or something, but that's... Is he smoking ash? The fuck is wrong with him? God, he's demented.
And hey, even Facebook, even Meta are adjusting to the modern world. Free speech is back. Well, you may find it offensive, but it's a...
Free speech is back. What the fuck? It's like when they say, oh, it's legal to say Happy Christmas again now because Trump's president. What the fuck are you talking... Like, what does that mean? What did Trump do at all that allowed you to say Happy Christmas in a way that you couldn't possibly have done before? Fuck. Oh, yeah, Dominic Raab and not understanding the importance of Dover as a port. Brilliant. Just...
Grayling. Remember Chris Grayling in the fucking ferry company with no ferries?
Amazing. Honestly, they're incredible. They're incredible. And if you want me to fast track you for government contracts that I definitely have at my disposal, you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe.
Yeah,
you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can do bits messages. You can do super chats or become a member on the YouTube. You can give memberships to the YouTube community on both my channel and, of course, on No Justice's channel, where I will also give you government contracts.
Exactly. Unfortunately, our Soros bucks can only go so far.
True. Mainly because he's now funding Nigel Farage to bomb dogs. That's what he's fucking spending the money on now.
Listen, all very definitely 100% true things. We have loads of evidence for, I promise.
Yeah.
The idea... It's not true. It's not true. It's a joke, by the way. I just want to
Well, hang on.
clear.
I can't say for definite that it isn't true. Look, look. I'm not claiming it is true, but I don't have definitive proof that George Soros is not paying Nigel Farage to anally fuck dogs. And until we have an inquiry, we may never know.
We may never know. The truth may never come out as to whether or not this is true or not. Because again, we have no evidence. We have no evidence at all. But I have heard somebody say that at some point in time.
Exactly, Nigel. The truth will set you free.
Good thing, not a bad thing.
You can tell that many in not just the British government, but in other governments around the world are sort of holding their breath to see what your other American friend, Donald Trump, is going to do when he gets back to the White.
Oh.
James from the internet with 133 raiderinos.
Fuck off, James. Fuck off, James, you cunt. Fuck off. Go on. Degenerate fucking scum. Get out!
Appreciate you raiding in with the Raiders. Welcome. You're through to No Justice Stream. We talk about UK politics 6 days a week from a socialist perspective. That sounds like your thing. Please consider dropping a cheeky follow. I'm here with the dulcet tones, as you heard, of Kevin Logan, KevLogan1875 on Twitch. You should follow him as well, despite his rude interactions.
No, I don't need your stank upon me. If you're into James from the internet, you are honestly lower than pond life. Get the fuck away from me. Get thee behind me, Satan!
You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, by the way, at No Justice MCG. It's free. Subscribe over on YouTube.
I'm not even going to say it's a joke. I'm just going to leave it out there. And people can decide for themselves.
I just wonder, what conversations have you had with him since he won the election, and I suppose, how do you think he will approach the UK?
So, two things to say. Number one, he's prepared for it this time. You know, I can tell you the whole mood at Mar-a-Lago.
So, again, we went from talking about rapists to talking about a rapist. Because Nigel Farage literally... Not Nigel Farage. Fucking Donald Trump literally raped E. Jean Carroll. And in the deposition for the divorce of his first wife, he admitted to beating and raping her too. So that's a thing. Also went backstage at Junior Miss World when they were getting dressed. So nonce, absolute fucking nonce. Good friends with Jeffrey Epstein for many years. I wonder if any of that will be raised, considering they really care about women and girls. You know.
I mean, it's just so tilting to me. You know, at the US election, that they could have literally just posted on their feeds all day, every day, photos of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, except they didn't do it because of fucking Bill Clinton.
Yeah, who should also be in jail because he's also a fucking nonce.
For the last 18 months has been a much more organised, disciplined one, and planning for the future. You know, he's got up to 3,000 appointments.
Also want to mention that he tried to appoint a man he knew, because he had access to this, because as a former president you have access to this kind of information, he would have known was under investigation for having drugged, trapped across state lines and raped a 17-year-old. He tried to make that person the Attorney General.
But genuinely, you know, he's the protector of women.
Yeah, but you know, they care about the safety of women and girls. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. They want to stop the grooming.
Yep.
Once he can make as president, they've been working on this for over a year. So he goes in with a professional team. He goes in with a new sense of calm about himself and the way that he conducts himself. And I particularly think since the assassination attempts, he's become a much calmer person. He has got a plan, and it's quite a radical plan. He will, on the world stage, do what he did in the first term and try and bring peace. This is the guy that oversaw the Abraham.
You can talk about the drone strikes, all of the drone strikes that he did, that killed loads of people, including American citizens.
He did more drone strikes in 4 years than the drone strike king Obama did in 8 years.
Indeed so. Indeed so. He is a war criminal, lest we forget. Threatened to literally destroy North Korea on Twitter, as you do.
Accords. This is the guy that crossed the line and walked into North Korea. The Ukraine,
which he definitely shouldn't have done. He was told specifically by his security staff not to do that, because in order to have saved him, should they have done anything, they'd have had to have invaded North Korea and started World War III.
There you go.
It was a very, very dangerous thing he did. The daft cunt.
War will end. It will end. Even Zelensky now, the Ukrainian president, says yes, it will end. As far as we're concerned...
Well, to be fair, Zelensky didn't ever say it will never end, you daft bastard. Also, like, of course it will end. Everything fucking ends. Human civilization at some point will be obliterated. There will be the heat death of the universe. Shut the fuck up. Also, you seem to be forgetting that during the campaign, he literally said repeatedly that give me 1 day, I'll have a peace deal on the first day of my presidency. 1 day we'll have a peace deal. And he's now saying it's a lot more complicated. It's a lot more complicated, and it might take a little bit of time to get a deal together. I think he might have been lying.
Yeah. Doing a Starmer.
Yeah, pulling a Starmer, as it's now known, yeah.
This may be the last ever American president with a deep emotional attachment to these islands. And
hopefully, yeah.
I mean, if they could fuck off forever.
Yeah, if you could just leave us the fuck alone, that would be fucking dope, yeah. Look, yeah, I know we've got that historical thing, but, like, you're not from here. Stop. Please fucking stop. Leave us alone.
I don't know where any one of our politicians just get this idea that Britain as a country is desperate to be close to the Americans. We seem to position ourselves culturally as a nation on how much we fucking hate them.
Yeah.
We hate the way they talk, we hate the way they act, they hate them as tourists, we hate the fact that their words, we hate when they come over here, we hate the ways in which their culture kind of pervades into the UK and essentially kind of cannibalizes ours. We don't want to move there. We've hated them ever since they made us go to war in Iraq. Yep. Like, everyone in this country doesn't like Americans.
I think Iraq definitely had a big say in that. Because I think after the Cold War, everyone was sort of like, well, what is the new order? Like, we don't even really know. And we had, like, Friends, the television show. So we were like, okay, we kind of like that, I guess. And then you made us do the illegal war, and now we fucking hate you. Like, Americans is one of... Like, do you know those graphics of the world map? And it's like... what each country thinks is the biggest threat to, or which country do you think is the biggest threat to world peace? And every single country has America, except Israel and America, which has Iran.
And Eastern Europe have Russia.
Eastern Russia have Russia, yes, to be fair. But Britain also has America. Britain, we literally think, even though we're allies and we're in NATO and we literally do everything you fucking say, we still think you're the biggest threat to world peace.
That's the thing. Like, and again, it's just
yeah.
There's no appetite for Atlanticism. There just isn't appetite for Atlanticism.
No.
Like, if anything, the nativist types who would support Reform UK, they believe in Britain being great once again.
Yeah.
They want to reclaim the colonies.
Yeah, which is even more fucking absurd. Yeah, because we're
Yeah,
gonna have to
especially-
really lowball the Indians to try and get that back. Fucking hell.
The special relationship is something that only our political class think is a good thing.
Yeah. So not sure why we blame Americans when we're the carbon copy. Well, to be fair, America is the carbon copy of us. We started that shit. We're the really bad. Like, if you look at all of the bad things in the world, it's almost always comes back to Britain or France.
Yeah.
Basically, we fucked up everywhere in the world. So,
True, true.
America started by Britain. We did that. We did Canada as well. We did loads of the horrible regimes in Africa. France fucked up loads of Africa. To be fair, Spain and Portugal in South America. Fair enough.
That's true. But France went all the way as far as Southeast Asia as well.
They literally did. Although we had fucking Hong Kong and India and Sri Lanka and various. Literally there are still parts of British territory in the South Pacific, which is a bit. Although America's got South American Samoa as well, so
And the French have like what the fuck is it called?
Guadeloupe. They do
Yes.
have that. By the way, France does this really weird thing with its colonies.
Tahiti is French, isn't it?
Tahiti, yes. And do they have Reunion Island, possibly?
Reunion, yes.
Yes.
And Martinique.
Martinique as well, yeah.
Whoa, but do they have Grand Pitcairn?
No, all the Sandwich Islands.
Exactly. And if anything is a good place to have, it's the fucking Sandwich Islands.
True.
Grand Pitcairn is the furthest away that you can get from civilization whilst still being in sovereign territory.
Nice.
It's
Let's go there.
Fuck
yes.
Yeah, and the people fucking live in Grand Pitcairn for some fucking reason.
Well, we need to stop allowing fucking the six twats who live on the Falklands to like dictate our foreign policy to us. Like, yeah, we need to protect them, but also can we not have the entire continent despise us? Could we not come up with a deal that allows for both of those things? Maybe. Fucking twats. Anyway, same with Gibraltar. Stop this nonsense. Fuck's sake.
So, yes, he of course is talking about tariffs, which is one example of something that could happen that could really hurt us. It's all avoidable. It's all avoidable. You know.
Yeah, it's all avoidable if Donald Trump didn't become president. But luckily he isn't. Elon Musk is going to be president, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. The thing is that it's although it's fine. We don't have to. It might not definitely happen because all it would have is the only problem it would be is if Donald Trump was a megalomaniacal, self-absorbed idiot who doesn't care about the utility of his policies and would happily listen to people who will tell them when they're bad. If that's the case, so it's a problem. And that's definitely not like Trump at all. What are we talking about?
Well, I think we have to think, I think Starmer has to think about two things very hard. Firstly, does he want us to be tied ever closer to a failing Europe?
Also, okay. Like, this is going to seem like really petty and like respectability politics, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I don't like him calling the Prime Minister Starmer. I think that actually is disrespectful.
Call him Sir Keith.
You're on a... Well, no, even if he calls him Keir Starmer, just his full name, or the Prime Minister. Like, I think as a Member of Parliament and as a person seeking to get to the office of Prime Minister, have a little bit of respect. I don't think that's too much to ask, actually. Him disrespectfully saying Starmer, as in cunt. Like, okay, that's... What the fuck are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be a diplomat? Come on now. I don't know, maybe I'm being picky, but...
I mean, honestly, I've took super fair play to the guy if you just called him Sir Granny Harmer.
Yeah, true.
America. And secondly, I think the one thing Keir Starmer needs to really think about is this. We're the biggest foreign investor in America. They're the biggest foreign investor here. Trade is important. Our cultural ties
Hang
are
on.
deeper today.
Doesn't China invest way more in America? Am I wrong there? Are we like the biggest European one and he's got that mixed up? I'm sure China invests way more.
China holds a lot of US treasuries, I believe, but I don't think they have like a huge amount of investment in economically, right? I think there's a lot of protection. There's not like a huge amount of protectionism, but I think they do. They kind of aren't allowed to invest in America as much as they are in other places.
Okay.
Today than they ever have been at any point in history.
How would you describe your, some people call it a bromance, you know, with Trump and Musk?
I made a decision in 2016.
You're not gonna refute the bromance claim there.
No.
That's a bit weird. I mean, that's more gay than you wanking off to a furry nurse. It's gay on that.
A thing that definitely 100% happened.
Yeah. I'm okay. Again, I'm okay. I am okay with him wanking off to the dog. That's a sentence I just said aloud to other people. Brilliant. I'm honestly, every single stream I do, I'm so glad my parents don't know how to work computers. Honest
how is the
God.
internet, Kevin?
For those who don't, new people, hello. My father is a delightful old Irishman who grew up in a place that didn't have street lighting. I'll just say that, okay? He asks me about my job. How's the internet going? Is literally the sentence he says to ask me about the job I do here as a streamer on Twitch. Because I've tried to explain that to him, and he just says, "How's the internet?" Also, interestingly, another little story, which I think I've told you before, but I'm not sure. He has a trouble with like new words. Right. So my younger brother is into dressing up in a futuristic way, and so he went to some festival or another, and my father informed me that he was going to a pumpkin festival, and I spent an hour like racking my brain to think what the fuck is he talking, because my brother's not into farming. What are you talking about, pumpkin festival? And eventually I managed to wheedle enough information out of him to work out that he meant steampunk.
Love it.
So in his mind, he heard my brother say, "I'm going to a steampunk convention," and he went through his index in his head of words he knew, and the closest one was pumpkin, and he just went, "That'll do." He's going to a pumpkin festival today. Brilliant. Fucking
all it
genius.
reminds me of is that time when they got a picture of Jeremy Corbyn holding a massive marrow.
True. How old is my dad? My dad is now in his late 60s. He's 67, I think. Yeah. So like he's old. He's old. And and not the most technologically savvy. We'll put it that way.
To put my head over the parapet to support Trump. I have stuck with him through thick and thin. At times it's not been easy. Maybe at times I was the only public figure in Britain that would stand up for him. And Trump is an old school businessman in a sense that if you're loyal to him, he's loyal to you. And that's what friendship's about.
What are you talking about? He's one of the most disloyal people ever. Literally, Rudy Giuliani, who bent over backwards for him, literally stood outside Four Seasons Total Landscaping and pretended like that was a normal thing that was taking place. And when it came down to it, it was like, Rudy Giuliani, no, I haven't spoken to him in ages. I don't even know who he is. Who's that? Who's Rudy? Who? I don't know who that is. Sorry, mate. Never mind. I moved on. Like, he will stab anyone in the back. He's fundamental. It's not just that he's disloyal, it's that disloyalty is a core part of his personality.
That was probably why him and Starmer are going to get on then.
Almost certainly, yeah. Well, he gets on with Giorgia Maloney famously, which is definitely not a very worrying
They agree
thing.
on so many things.
Lovely. I love that. I love a British Prime Minister agreeing with fascists. Isn't that lovely?
Good, isn't it?
And is his friend, Elon Musk, now your friend, and is he going to give you millions of pounds?
Well, that's a real question, isn't it? Now,
no, it isn't anymore. It's definitely not anymore, because he's not giving you a fucking penny, mate. I'll just read it again. The Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes. So no, you're not getting a fucking penny off him. Richard Tice might, but you ain't. Actually, Richard Tice won't either, because as soon as Richard Tice becomes leader of that party, and their numbers tank, because he has no public profile and no one likes him, Elon Musk will move on to someone else. He'll go and give the money to the AFD or Marine Le Pen or something.
The Homeland Party.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about the $100 million being talked about in the newspapers.
Are you going to give you money?
That is for the birds.
Is he going to give you money?
He may well do. He may well do. But it's got to be legal. He's got to be comfortable with it. He may well give us money. Whether he does or not, I'll tell you what he gives us. With huge...
Well, he gives you the fact that you're definitely not fucking populist in any way whatsoever. You can't take money from the richest man in the world and claim to be anti-establishment. That doesn't work.
Nope. Quite so.
Does not work in the slightest, you little scumbag.
Numbers of young people. He makes us look cool.
Is the reason...
What are you talking? No young people think he's cool. What are you... Did you not just see him as Adrian Dittman trying to play Fortnite? Oh, hello.
Apparently Adrian Dittman is a real person and not Elon Musk.
I don't believe that. I genuinely don't believe that. It came out in fucking The Spectator, and I don't care. Unless I see actual definitive proof that this Adrian Dittman is the actual Adrian Dittman, I don't believe it.
I wouldn't have trusted The Spectator either, but I found out that they actually didn't do any of the legwork for it at all and stole all of the work that they did to try and find out who Adrian Dittman was from some trans women online, because they're not real journalists at The Spectator, obviously. But yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. I want to see some actual evidence. If they are, if Adrian Dittman come out and make a video of you literally talking in the way that you do as Adrian Dittman, the character, like for reals.
I hope he's going to give you money. Is that why you don't want to criticise him?
I think I've made it perfectly clear that I don't agree with everything he stands for, but I do believe in free speech. I think he's a hero, and I said that well before any potential money was offered.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much. Thank you for speaking to us. Thank you. Well, next week...
That was rubbish.
That was rubbish. That was genuinely rubbish. Thanks,
yes, literally. And again, it's just frustrating that she didn't push back specifically on the free speech thing, right?
Yeah.
She kept going back to it. He kept saying, well, I believe in free speech. Well, there's not a free speech question. The obvious response to this from the journalist should be, I am not discussing the merits of whether or not that there should be kind of state involvement in what he says or does, right? This has nothing to do with free speech, and you continually saying this is a total misdirection.
Yeah.
The important thing, of course, is whether or not you believe that it's bad or good that he said it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Exactly.
That's an opinion that you have. You can hold that opinion without calling him to be silenced or cancelled.
True. Although I think actually the X platform should be banned in the UK.
I agree. I
genuinely do. I think it's for the same reason that we banned Russia Today from broadcasting, because it's a harmful foreign actor trying to undermine our democracy. I think X is exactly the same thing.
Yep. Agreed.
Leader, and through the rest of the month, the Prime Minister and Ed Davey should, in theory, be joining us too. But we begin the year not in a normal situation. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who's on Team Trump, has been busy posting inflammatory messages on his social media platform, saying the Prime Minister should face charges and a government minister should be in jail for not going ahead with a new national inquiry into the grooming gang scandal that we talked about. It's important to remember when Keir Starmer was boss of the Crown Prosecution Service, he presided over prosecutions of some of those gangs. So it is a long and an important story to understand. But Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary for England, is with us today, and we will talk about your plans for the NHS.
He looks like he's trying to stir her out.
He does a bit. Or he's in standby mode. Because he's a robot. He's literally a fucking robot.
True.
And a lickspittle cunt, lest we forget.
True, very true.
Start with this, because it is not a normal situation. Given how far Elon Musk has been going in his attacks on Keir Starmer, in this post, for example, accusing the Prime Minister of being complicit in what he calls the rape of Britain. This is not mild criticism. Can you work with this man, as you suggested you still could a few days ago?
Well, actually, what I was saying the other day is that if he wants to roll his sleeves up and actually do something about tackling violence against women and girls, then online platforms, whether X or any of the other platforms...
Maybe he should stop showing his erect penis to unwilling workers at his companies, if he cares about that.
Yeah, and plying them with horses as compensation.
Yeah, it's not a normal form of remuneration. It's just not...
No.
Also, don't commit sexual crimes, Elon. A thing you have done repeatedly.
platforms have got a role to play in keeping people safe online, helping law enforcement clamp down on perpetrators of violence against women and girls and people who want to groom kids online. Keir Starmer and Jess Phillips, by the way, who've both been on the receiving end of completely ill-judged and ill-founded criticism, are people who have done, in their professional lives, more than most people ever do to lock up paedophiles, rapists, wife-beaters and every other kind of scumbag in our society. As Director of Prosecutions, Keir Starmer opened up historic cases going after people who thought they'd gotten away with it. He put in place...
There was one person he didn't go after.
No, that one person in particular.
No, I don't want to mention any names at all, okay? But there's one problem he didn't fix.
True.
That's all I'm going to say.
Specialist prosecutors to make sure that we could build the evidence to put rapists behind bars. And as for Jess, the work that she has done in her professional life outside politics, supporting victims of violence against women and of girls, has helped to support them to get their day in court and to lock up their abusers. So the fact they're now Prime Minister and Victims Minister means they can now do in politics what they've given their careers for doing, and their critics are not.
And I think it's worth just pointing out the bodge job they did of early release of criminals, allowed sexual violent criminals out whilst they were locking up just stop oil protesters.
Yep.
Because we didn't have enough space for like rapists, but we do have enough space for 78-year-olds who block traffic.
Yeah, I think climate change might be an urgent threat to existence. Yeah, they're definitely more of a priority to lock up. And the thing is, as well, we all know that it was the Tories' fault that they had to do early releases, and it was on the cards. Like there was no way of getting around it. So we're not going to rag on them for having to do it.
Yeah.
It's the terrible job they did of the selection of the people who were released early.
Exactly. No violent person should ever have been released. There are people in jail for like dodging council tax. No, you shouldn't dodge council tax. There should be repercussions for you doing that. Okay, but if we're in such a dire straits that we need to release people from prison, release the non-violent ones first, maybe.
Yeah, like all the fucking drug offences, just all of them. Just fucking release them. Who gives a shit?
Exactly, and find them hospital places because that's the best place for people like that. They are medically ill,
of course. Yeah.
You know.
Fit to touch their records. They've got records that their critics can't even begin to touch.
And yet this is what Elon Musk says about them, calling Jess Phillips a rape apologist, saying she's a wicked witch. What do you...
You've missed out one very, very key word. Are the BBC so allergic to saying the word genocide that even when it's on the screen, they still won't say it, and it's not even connected with Israel? They just won't. They've a blanket ban on the word genocide on this channel now. Jess Phillips is a rape genocide apologist, is what he said. It's literally on the screen. You're showing it to us. And
also, have they doctored that picture of Jess Phillips?
I don't think so. I think it's just an old picture, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
When she was a bit younger. Oh, by the way, have you seen Alex Jones lately?
No.
He's been on the Ozempic. He looks fucking mental.
Oh, I'm not surprised, yeah.
Actually, I'll see if I can find pictures. It just sprang into my mind.
I'll have a Google.
Yeah, they said like someone put a before and after thing up, and he's lost like half his weight. He looks gaunt and ill. Hopefully, he's dying. You never know.
It reminds me of the before and after picture of Alex Jones that they did when they were trying to sell weight loss.
Yeah, it was basically the same picture. Now he could genuinely have done that thing of like, I took this, even if it's nothing to do with why he's lost all that weight. But like, he could actually do that now.
Say to him, you just said his critics aren't fit to touch them. Is Elon Musk not fit to touch or to talk about?
It is a disgraceful smear of a great woman who has spent her life supporting victims of the kind of violence that Elon Musk and others say that they're against. And it's all very well sitting there, and I'm not just talking about Musk, I'm talking about armchair critics on social media. It's all very easy to sit there and fire off something in haste and click send when people like Keir Starmer and Jess Phillips have done the hard yards of actually locking up wife beaters, rapists, paedophiles.
So you say...
Those are good
Oh, here
people.
we go. Right. Sorry, just because I mentioned it, I thought it's worth showing. Yeah, he doesn't look wow at all. Look at that. That's what he looked like just a few weeks ago in court. And now... Oof.
It doesn't look like him.
It doesn't look like him, but I assure you, that is him. That's Alex Jones. That's the weird skeletal creature underneath the Alex Jones fat suit.
I mean, it looks like the kind a genuine. I mean, of course. Actually, that Zakat points out, it looks like he's a Tate brother.
It does. He's on his fucking Tate arc. He's so Tate coded.
Also, everyone go follow Zakat.
True, everyone go follow Zakat, who is good people. Anyway, we tangent aside.
With great records outside politics, the reason why Keir Starmer and Jess Phillips came into politics was they recognised that what they were doing, either in Keir's case through criminal justice or Jess's case through the voluntary sector supporting victims, could go so far, but politics, government, is a force for good in our society. And that's how you deliver real change for people. And it's great we've got a Prime Minister and a Victims Minister who are now able to do in government what they spent their professional lives seeking to tackle.
And you say it's a disgraceful smear. What then is the government actually going to do about this? Because Elon Musk does seem to have developed a specific habit of attacking your government with the huge megaphone that he has. What do you say to him? Stop it, back off, keep your nose out.
Just say stop it. That'll definitely work. What the fuck was that as a suggestion? Beg him nicely, honest, it'll definitely work. No, you fucking ban the platform.
We will write you a letter telling you how angry we are.
Yeah.
It's the Hans Blix approach to international diplomacy.
Yeah, I will look disdainfully in you. I will judge you. Yeah.
I will give him the bombastic side eye.
Yeah, I'll turn my back on him. I will. Don't make me do it.
Or ignore it.
To be honest, the Prime Minister can talk about whether he wants to respond, but on the job that we're doing to tackle violence against women and girls, the best response to what I think, beyond the sort of the oxygen we give to individuals on social media, there are serious issues. The most important voices in all of this are victims of violence against women and girls and other sexual...
Wow, well done on completely not answering the question, you fucking worthless sack of shit. You didn't answer the question. What are we going to do? Nothing. We're going to do nothing. Brilliant. What are you going to do to stop him buying the election? Nothing. Well, what?
Then they can't have their election bought for them either.
Yeah, they're pathetic. Absolutely fucking worthless.
Yeah, because if we ban Elon Musk, we'll have to ban quadrature.
True. And then we might have a flourishing democracy. Imagine that. Ugh, guy.
Carry on. He's an advisor
and that's
to the
that's the focus we've got to give, and that's the focus we are giving. The Prime Minister, the Home Secretary, the Victims Minister, they're focusing on tackling the problem, not talking about it.
And we'll talk about the NHS, which is hugely important in just a second, but I just want to be clear. Can Elon Musk just carry on doing this with impunity? I mean, this is not any old person. It's not even any old billionaire. He's an advisor to the man who's about to move into the White House. So what would your message be to him as someone who's part of the government, who's trying to take on these issues, as you've explained?
Well, he's got a big platform. He's got a big voice. So he can say what he likes. But what we're focused on is making...
So you're just a cock. You're just an embarrassing cock who's going to do nothing about it.
Fine, Kevin. Are you saying, right? Are you saying that erudite political fucking firebrands, Wes Streeting, can't defeat Elon Musk in the marketplace of ideas?
I don't...
Are you saying that he can't do that? Are you ye of little faith?
I don't think he could defeat Laura Koonsberg in the fucking ideas market. No. And that's saying something. Because she'd have suggested telling Elon Musk, no, naughty boy, was a good suggestion.
Well, unlike you, my brain is still in recovery mode from taking all these high-level important ideas.
Oh, I love a Rubin callback. Let's fucking go.
Ensure we deliver justice, to make sure that we tackle violence against women and girls. And let's not forget, there was an independent inquiry in this country into grooming gangs, the Alexis J report. None of those recommendations were implemented, so we're getting on with doing that.
And we'll
there have
put
been
that
some
to the Shadow
very
Home
powerful
Secretary
reports.
shortly.
The Rotherham report, for example, called out not just the corruption locally, but also the extent to which fears of being accused of being racist or upsetting community cohesion were disrupting or intimidating people from coming forward. We've got no time for that. We want to deal with those problems too, and we will. But we will do that by delivering real change, not just by talking about it. And I think, to be honest, that there's been far too much time and attention given to what one person in another country's got to say. We're more interested in what victims in this country need us to do, working with victims to make sure that they get the justice they deserve and to make sure that other people don't find themselves being victims of the worst kinds of crimes in our society.
Well, let's talk then about your plans for the NHS. Now, you
What
are
plans?
trying to increase
Plans?
the choice for patients.
Well, no, they've got an idea of a plan, of a concept, of a milestone, of a
We've
pledge.
got concepts of a plan.
Yeah. They've got a quango.
We've got a quango.
They've got a plan for a quango, okay?
Concepts of a plan for a quango for a task force.
Fuck yes.
Changes to the NHS app. But if you look at what's going on right now in the NHS, we've looked at the stats this week, show there are 3.5 times more people in hospital with flu. We've just heard from Nicola, the new boss of RCN, about how difficult things are right now. How worried are you about the current situation? Are we at the peak of what's going on with flu, for example?
Extremely, and I think we're likely to see the peak of flu sometime in the next week or two. It's still going up, and that is creating a real pressure on the NHS. I think my reflection, and I've spent quite a bit of time over Christmas visiting hospitals in Greater London, the southwest of England, South Yorkshire, the northwest of England, different hospitals in different parts of the country, looking at how they're coping and not coping, and starting to prepare right now, this winter, for next winter, because what we can't have, and where we've got to in the last 14 years, is a situation where winter pressures turn into annual winter crises. And I was honest coming into this winter, you can't just turn 14 years of failure around in 6 months.
No, you need to have a 2-year-long plan, to have a quango to come up with a suggestion for a panel to then do some ideas that won't happen and you'll lose the election.
Yep, good, love it, excellent governance there. Like, it's almost like the 14 years they keep banging on about that were wasted because the Conservatives been governed. They could have formulated some ideas of their own in that time.
Yeah, like, you're not supposed to come up with a quango to come up with a policy once you're in government. You do the policy and then you put that to the people and they elect you and you do it. That's the way round that's supposed to work.
We did go in this winter without strikes nationally for the first time in 3 years. So you got doctors on the front lines instead of picket lines. We did a big boost on vaccination, including the new RSV vaccine for the first time. The Chancellor unlocked funding during this year, as well as the funding that's coming in through the budget from April. But it is going to take time to turn the NHS around, and that's why, not just in opposition, but in the last 6 months, and the Prime Minister saying more about this tomorrow in relation to waiting lists, we have banged the drum hard for the case that, yes, the NHS needs investment, but it also needs reform. Otherwise, we will not break this cycle of annual winter crises that we've seen come as regularly as the Coca-Cola van and the John Lewis ads.
But Nicola's told us this morning, even June and July, there are already people being treated in corridors. We've looked at the stats. I think there were 12,000 people being stuck waiting in ambulances for more than an hour before they could be seen in hospital. Isn't that what you should be focusing on,
Definitely,
rather than the long-term plans to make? I mean, some health leaders have said this week that with a grave concern is that your plans fail to recognise without emergency care recovery, your plan for electives, cutting the waiting list, will fail.
We've got to do both. You've got to focus on the immediate crisis and the longer term, and that's what we're doing. And urgent emergency care is a really good example, actually. If I think about the pressures we're seeing in emergency departments right now, so many of the solutions to those pressures lie outside emergency departments. That's about fixing the front door to the NHS in general practice and making sure.
Oh, fixing the front door, are we now?
Close to home.
Okay,
and
fixing the front door and the foundations. Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. The foundations have been fixed. They've
No,
got
well,
all of the foundations. No, it's just some foundations and also a front door.
And a front door, and then you need a wall, and then you need some interior. Then you need a load-bearing wall, obviously, at some point, and a roof would be nice. And then we'll have a nice house, and they will have actually built one house.
Just then we'll find out that the roof has been made out of crack concrete.
True.
And we've got a lot of ambulance call-outs at the moment, particularly to frail elderly people who could be supported and managed at home, but the care isn't there. We've got lots of people who are staying in emergency departments too long because they need an acute bed elsewhere in the hospital, but we can't discharge because of delays, because of a lack of care in the community. So that's why we're taking a systemic approach to solving these challenges, because if every single part of the NHS, primary care, community services, mental health, social care as well, all of these things have been run into the ground. Turning it around is going to take time. We've hit the ground running in the last 6 months, but of course there is so much more to do. And that's why this year you'll be hearing a lot more from the government about what we are doing, not just what we're saying, what we are doing to turn around what is objectively the worst crisis in the history of the NHS.
But particularly this weekend when temperatures are tumbling, the country's freezing, there's snow and disruption everywhere. Last week the NHS told people to stay at home. You told pensioners, many of whom have lost their winter fuel payments, that they should turn the heating on and layer up. I mean, that raised some people's eyebrows. What do you say to people today?
Well, it'd be irresponsible of me not to repeat the health advice that the NHS has given people. And I would just say on the winter...
Yeah, but you're essentially saying go into poverty, go into debt to have the heating on because you're a ghoul?
Yeah, I know you want the heating on, and you should put the heating on, but we won't help you afford it.
No.
Wrap up warm.
Yep.
Thumbs up. Best of luck, right?
I don't remember saying good luck.
The fuel allowance. Let's not forget the Chancellor did protect winter fuel allowance for the poorest pensioners. She's kept in place measures like the Warm Homes discount so that people receiving support can turn on the heating over winter. And I know that not all of the decisions we've taken in the last 6 months have been popular. The reason why we've been prepared to take unpopular decisions is to get the country out of the massive hole we're in so that people see in the longer term we've made the right decisions to get Britain back on track. So obviously we're talking about the NHS this morning.
Literally, Osborne, this is George Osborne. You are listening to George Osborne.
Yep.
He's how different, where in this rhetoric is any difference to the phrase fixing the roof whilst the sun is shining?
Yeah. Well, except fixing the door. So
fixing the door whilst the wind is blowing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just crazy.
They're just continuity Cameron. That's all that's happening here.
That's it. They think that there's this big kind of cohort of people that they can appeal to who believe that good governance is when you just cut things that potentially might theoretically be unnecessary.
Yeah.
Even though it's not, right?
It's not.
But you can say, we should respect the public by doing what we perceive to be good governance when no one likes this, but there's no appetite for this shit anymore.
No, you were literally elected to change things, and you've just gone, should we just carry on cutting things exactly the same as the Tories were gonna? Yep. Awesome, thanks Baldrick.
Secretary here, and she'd be talking about overcrowded prisons and the courts backlog. The Education Secretary would talk about the lack of teachers in our school and kids turning up too hungry to learn. The Home Secretary would talk about the lack of neighbourhood...
Actually, what's lucky for Wes and lucky for Labour, they don't need to have the Education Secretary talking about kids fixing kids going into school hungry, because thanks to TikTok and an AI-generated owl, I'm now fully aware of the fact that Labour have plenty of plans for free breakfast clubs, and kids are going to be fed at school. So there you go.
You know what that also led to as well? Nigel Farage having an orgasm.
Allegedly.
But just over the dog. Nothing weird.
No, that's too far.
Exactly. Imagine coming to the thought of a hedgehog. You're a monster. Anyway, the Anglo-punk, hello there, you said, I said this when Labour won, we'll be living through what Americans lived through with the Biden presidency. Labour will do fuck all and allow fascists to win next time round. That's basically the point I was going to make to Jonathan Ashworth, had I not been silenced by
your free
LBC.
Speech got taken away.
I was cancelled. Clearly, I'm the victim of the cancel culture. Give me a television series and a book deal immediately. That's how
Netflix
it works.
Comedy special.
Exactly, about how called silenced. The Kevin Logan story. Yeah. Yeah, I rang in and they said, "Oh, we'll ring you back if we can get you in," and then they didn't. She's all right, whatever. It's a big show, you know. That's fine. But still,
policing to catch criminals on every single front at the moment, on every single public service that matters, and of course for people at home, the pressure in their pockets, their wages, their bills. The country's left in a massive mess. So of course it's going to take time to turn around, and we have had to make some...
We're just going to listen to that for the next 5 years. It's going to take time to turn around. It would take less time if you had a plan and rather than a quango every fucking time for literally every... How many dozens of quangos have they set up so far?
So there was a child poverty task force. There was the social care work group commission thing. I forget what it's called now. They went to the regulators to ask for ideas on how to get growth.
Yeah.
What other things did they? There was another one.
Well, Labour is according. This is the Telegraph, but whatever. Labour has established a new quango every week since the election win.
Wow.
A new quango has been established and has emerged. Oh, and then I'm not fucking signing up to your thing. You can fuck right off. Oh, here we go. The Daily Mail.
Infrastructure Council. They had a they've got a council on industrial strategy. They've got a council on the finance sector as well. I believe because they invited, was it 7 financiers from like the top banks?
Yeah,
and
there's the national
one person from the prudential regulator.
Yeah, they've got a mission control, a new advisory body for clean power. They've got the new energy action system operator.
Border Security Command.
I like to think of that as the rubber sniffing dog task force myself. But okay.
The rubber sniffing dogs. Oh my god.
There's the Global Clean Power Alliance. There's the child poverty.
Was that the one that they gave the woman from Quadrature the position on?
Yes, that's the one. Also, another one they set up was the anti-Bangladesh corruption czar position, which they gave to someone who'd been convicted of corruption in Bangladesh.
The quango very specifically for Tulip Sadiq.
Yes. The Child Poverty Task Force, the New Towns Task Force. What else have we got? The Border Security Command, the Small Boats Operational Command, the Regulatory Horizons Council, whatever the fuck that is, the Jet Zero Task Force, the Jet Zero Council, which is how is that a different thing than the Jet Zero Task Force? How are the two jets? What the fuck does that even mean? Fuck me.
I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
Chat. You know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what all of this is? This is the adults in the room.
It's the adults in the room. Fuck yeah.
This is what the adults in the rooms looks like.
Yeah. Oh, fucking incredible. It is. It's just quango after quango after quango. Like nothing can change if you don't ever try and make it change. If you just have a plan to have a fucking panel, to then have a separate panel and an alliance and a panel about Jet Zero, whatever the fuck that even is, how are you ever going to achieve Jet Zero?
Oh god, I'm so glad I have somebody from the Labour Party in my chat, because he's just reeling off all of the fucking crap. Independent Football Regulation Task Force, Ethics and Integrity Task Force, House of Commons Modernisation Task Force, National Jobs and Career Service Authority, Fair Work Agency, Fashion Standards Authority, Skills England.
That's how they're going to get unemployment down, is to just employ people in these stupid fucking quangos. Everyone in the country gets a quango job.
Ed Miliband finally got his employer of last resort. What's the fucking policy called?
I can't remember.
A job guarantee. He finally got his job guarantee policy through.
Yeah. Can I have one of the Jet Zero Alliance or Council jobs, please? Just so I can find out what the fuck that phrase even means. Brilliant.
decisions that we know have been unpopular because we believe they're the right decisions. And let me tell you, people would not thank us down the line if we just did short-term sticking plaster.
They're not going to thank you down the line. Sticking plaster.
But in the last 6 months,
Whoa, throwback. Sticking plaster politics. We haven't heard that one in a while.
We haven't.
It's lovely when they play the old tunes. That's the beauty. Oh, it's lovely. So, see, this is the thing. He plays stuff off the new album, Fixing the Door, right? And we get the old classics as well. It's the perfect old-timey rock and roll concert set list.
Oh my god! Honestly, even if you didn't care about politics at all, it'd be so funny just watching these Labour minister interviews, just trying to spot the talking points. It's so funny.
It is. Once you kind of understand it and you see past the bluff that they sell to the public, it's so obvious which bits are just like I don't even know, like a piece of stage prop theatre that they just place in the conversation to make it sound like they know what they're talking about or that they're on message.
Well, how else would we know about the Jet Zero Alliance?
Can't wait. Well, no, please. We are strictly a Jet Zero Council show. The Alliance can fuck right off. It's the People's Jet Council of fucking Judea, okay?
But in the last 6 months, you and your colleagues have sat in
Splitters!
and said we have to take difficult decisions. We have to take difficult decisions. You spent ages telling how terrible things are, but the country's looked at what you're doing and thought, well, actually, that looks pretty terrible too. I mean, your poll ratings have really fallen away. What do you have to do a better job at explaining what you?
No, they need to set up a Quango to find out why they're so unpopular. They need to set up. They need to set up the Why Does Everyone Hate Keir Starmer Alliance and the Why Does Everyone Hate Keir Starmer Council. Clearly.
Doing? You haven't been explaining it well enough, maybe.
I think what it is the Keir Starmer. The
Keir Starmer.
Yeah, Keir Starmer. The Keir Starmer. Oh, sorry, I had a fucking thing in my mind and immediately forgot it as soon as I tried to start saying it. Oh yeah, the Keir Starmer Ambition Poverty Task Force.
Yes, it's genius. Let's go.
Matters in the end is delivery. At the next election, people will be thinking, is the country better off now? We're in a better place now than we were when Labour came to power.
Apologies, Lord Freetus. Some people are foreign, so I'll explain. Quango, and it's spelled Q-A-N-G-O, right? Yeah, so it's quasi-autonomous, non-governmental organisation. So it's a word, it's an acronym, right? And it basically means like an NGO is something like Bernardo's or some shit like that, right? Like a charity that does things outside of the government. A Quango is something that can be set up by the government, but can be completely independent of the government, except they set the rules for their thing and they fund it. But they don't do day-to-day like running of the thing. So it's not quite independent, but it's not quite a part of the government as well. Like a task force. Yeah, it's quasi-autonomous, yeah. Hence the name.
Yeah, there we go. Also, apparently, again, I've got some insider information.
Go on then.
The internal Labour focus group aggregator, talking point generator, swing voter identification service is called Persuasion Pathways, which sounds like the worst kind of fucking boardroom... PowerPoint presentation, office garbage slop you ever heard.
Well,
right?
it's exactly what I would expect from the managerial class fucking wank that is.
And you remember, right? My career, I worked in sales, mate. My chosen career path before stream was direct sales. I have heard the fucking garbage slop like that over and over and over again throughout my career. And has any of it ever been useful?
No,
I'll let you answer that at home.
No. Well, that's the thing. This is, again, it's modern Britain. It's not that things are there to actually be changed. It's there. That's why you'll set up a Quango. It's rather than actually trying to change something, it's there to make it appear that you're on the topic. So they'll produce a research paper that isn't really meant to be read or acted on. It's meant to be there so that you can say you did a study.
Exactly that, and also it's a way of being able to apportion blame to somebody else. If you let the technocrats do the policy, you can say, well, it wasn't our fault if it went tits up.
Yeah.
We subcontracted it out to the experts, and the experts got it wrong despite the fact that they're experts.
But of course, if it goes well, it's the genius of the dear leader. and his foresight to implement this great policy that he definitely came up with. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a perfect way of being able to take all of the credit when it goes well and none of the credit when it fails. But of course, the problem is that there's the people outside of experts.
Well, it's two people outside of experts, and either way, the Quangarati, as I'm going to call them, will get a seat in the House of Lords or some cushy fucking research job afterwards as well, because it's a gravy train for middle class. It's basically middle and upper class people's version of benefits. You get a free job doing fuck all for 2 years on the Jet Zero Council. Basically.
It's a way of, and it's also a way of rewarding people who've given you donations. Again, like that woman from Quadrature sitting on their fucking climate council or whatever it is, in the high-paid Quango position, because her fucking employer gave the government £4 million, the fucking Labour Party £4 million, $4 million, whatever it was, and the lady who convinced them to do green finance through public-private partnerships rather than through state investment, she's sitting on that same council, and that she fucking worked for Barclays and Aviva.
Amazing stuff.
Also, I want to point out someone in chat who has got a set list for the first EP.
Okay.
For the what was it? Somebody said something that sounded like a good band name before. Something
Did they?
Wesley. Yeah, I think someone in chat. But the debut EP.
Lickspittle in the cunts. I don't know.
Lickspittle in the cunts. Quangraphenia, Difficult Decisions, Nurse Mum / Toolmaker Dad. Track 3, Fixing the Foundations. 4, Not a Party of Protest. 5, Making Brexit Work, and 6, Sticking Fast to Politics. I mean, it sounds like a good fucking entry level into the Labour Party discography.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's not the deep dive. That's the big hits. But that's good stuff.
And we're doing everything we can to make sure the answer to that question is an emphatic yes. We were honest before the election about the fact that change takes time.
Fuck off. We were honest before the election. Press X to doubt.
Press X to doubt.
You were not remotely honest before the election. Literally, the big thing coming out of the health policy or the health department this week is you literally going back on one of the very few pledges you did make about oh fuck's sake! I literally mentioned it earlier and I've totally forgotten it. Social care. You're now going to do a Quango and you're not going to do anything about it. And then you're going to wonder why people who have problems with social care won't vote for you at the next election. Crazy, I know.
Yep.
That the challenges are enormous. We were criticised actually with our manifesto because we were very clear about the promises we were making, so there were promises we could keep.
You didn't tell anyone you were going to put employers' national insurance up. Do you have to do a better job of explaining why you're doing what you're doing this year?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm here this morning, and you'll see.
Why do they send out this fucking robot? He doesn't do a good job of this. Send out Jonathan Reynolds. At least he seems like a normal person.
Did you not see the person on Twitter? What was it? What did they say?
Well, it was Twitter, so it was probably very racist. I imagine.
Yeah. Blinded by ideology. You are blinded by ideology if you think that Wes Streeting is bad at politics. He is clearly one of the most gifted politicians currently in Parliament. You don't have to like the guy to realise this. So I quote tweeted him with the thing of him going ship shape.
Yeah. Well, that's what all you need to do is to do weird analogies about naval vessels. It's fine.
Do they have anyone good at media? I think the only good media performer that I've seen from Labour at this point. And the funny thing is, I actually think Angela Rayner is usually a pretty good media performer, but she's terrible when they get her to defend things that we know she doesn't believe in.
Yeah, when she's actually saying things from the bottom of her heart, seems like a genuine person who can connect. But when she's doing the robotic answer that every fucking politician would give you, it's awful. Yeah.
The McSweeney dictat, right? It reminds me of Tim Walz during the election debate.
Yes.
When he was talking about things he actually cared about, he was really animated, and he spent the rest of the time just pretending that he was as draconian as fucking J.D. Vance.
Yep.
Is anyone else who I've seen being good on fucking media? Like from the people who are in with the kind of people who'd be at the top of their party. Stella Creasy, maybe?
Oh God,
she kind of seems like if Stella Creasy is where the actual kind of
that's what I mean.
Communication skill lies.
Yeah, I don't think she's necessarily the worst, but like if she's your like one of your best options, you're fucked. If that's one of your stars, you're absolutely fucked. Look, thank you, Lord Fritus, with Bitty Bits, who says it's not where you land, it's about how far you go. I see what you've done there. It's very clever. Very clever.
Government ministers out on the airwaves throughout this year explaining the choices we're making, what we are doing, and over the course of this Parliament, the impact we're making, because ultimately that's the only thing that matters. And I know, you know, for example, on health and social care, I know that people will be judging me on whether we deliver on the really ambitious target the Prime Minister set to get NHS waiting times from 18 months where they currently are to 18 weeks by the end of this Parliament. And that's why we're setting out the specific steps, not just the investment, but the reform to make the NHS easier and more convenient to use to give patients more.
How many steps are there, Wes? Tell us how many
usually
steps
there are
you've got.
2 steps up to the door, right? So he's built.
is
We've
it
got the
fixed?
foundations. They've got fixed the door. They put in 2 steps for easy access, because you don't want too much of a drop when you put it onto the pavement. So you have 2 little steps. Obviously, no wheelchair access because fuck the disabled, naturally. But yeah, that's how you get into the house that they're definitely going to build. Sorry, that Serco are going to build. My bad.
More choice to get rid of the waste and inefficiency we see in the NHS, like the fact there's about 1 million appointments a year where people are turning up, or not turning up, I should say, wasting appointments. But the NHS.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, the fucking Pat the Corpse McFadden. He has to be the one. Why he ever gets on TV?
It's crazy.
It's insane. Look, I know he's like the dark puppeteer behind the scenes, but that's where he should remain. He has a voice for death announcements, not fucking TV stuff. What are you doing, mate?
Genuinely,
He's awful. Like, have him write up the evil notes for the actual humans to go out and read to the fucking plebs, but don't ever put him in front of a camera. Jesus Christ. I feel like I need to hold a cross up to him. What the fuck?
Them by post. The letters arrive after the appointment was due to take place. You book a table in a restaurant these days, or even an appointment at the hairdresser, you'll get a text message 24 or 48 hours in advance to remind you. Why doesn't the NHS do this? These are the practical steps we'll be taking. The Prime Minister will be setting out our plan
We'll hear more
to cut
about
NHS
that.
waiting times.
And everyone will hear more about that
And it's the
tomorrow.
results we're going to be judged on.
And everyone will hear more about that tomorrow. But viewers know very well, on many times we've asked you here, where your plan is long-term on social care. Now,
So he's literally already said, like, yeah, I know you're going to ask me about this. Get ready now, everyone. Get ready. We're going to have the Quango talk again. Jet Zero Council Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Let's fucking go. And don't forget, if you want to fund my Quango, whatever the fuck that means, you can do bits messages and subs and become a member and super chats and all of those great things that you can do for me.
Yes.
And
indeed.
No Justice MTG.
You can do that. Well, just like MBV90 did by resubscribing with Prime, by linking Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. It gets free money, courtesy of Jeff Bezos, to keep us employed here on Twitch.tv.
True.
Plenty of ways of giving us money.
True. And the good thing about being employed in this way is that there are very few places where you can openly say, the person who owns this company is an evil cunt who I want to see in jail for his many and varied crimes. But I can.
Gifts until you make a Quango to decide the efficiency of it. Sadly,
Yeah,
true.
exactly. They've got to fix the super chat system.
Exactly. The fact is, its foundations and front door are not. They've not had the streeting treatment. The
True.
streetment.
The streetment. Fuck yes.
you always said, oh, we've got to wait, but I promise you I'll come back with it any time. Now, your answer is now different, but it's, we're going to have a plan.
Oh, he's
by
doing the
2028.
evil smile.
And do you admit it's a political choice to delay this? Were you just not able to persuade your colleagues in the Treasury and Downing Street that you had to get on with it right now? You've got a huge majority. You could have got on with it.
Well, that's not quite right, Laura, because in the last 6 months, what have we done on social care? We've legislated within the first 100 days for the first ever fair pay agreements to tackle the workforce crisis. The budget delivered the biggest expansion of carers allowance to support family carers, the biggest expansion since the 1970s. The budget boosted the spending power of local authorities and ring-fence funding specifically for social care.
If you speak to anyone in the social care sector, they will tell you that the crisis is now. They will tell you also the budget has made life harder because they've got increased minimum wage and they've got to pay NI and national employers on their staff. Why?
Right, but like, surely the question is, why do we have private employers get involved in fucking healthcare anyway? Why isn't this an NHS thing? Why have we fucking outsourced this shit?
Yeah, exactly. As Ben points out in chat, waste and efficiency, like $1 billion a year wasted in NHS internal procurement market. Quite.
Yep.
Wait until 2028 to come up with your long-term plan. We know you care about this issue. Why on earth is it going to take so long?
Action is needed now. That's why just this week I announced £86 million through the Disabled Facilities Grant to provide nearly 8,000 home adaptations right now. And as for the Casey Commission, look, I'm delighted, by the way. We've got one of Whitehall's best-known doers and social reformers to lead this commission. That should reassure people this isn't going to be some talking shop. We'll deliver action. The first report actually reported...
In 2028? Shut the fuck up. You can't talk about delivering action.
That's when the report will be done. That's what the commission will finish in 2028. Like, you won't have even started putting fucking shovels in the ground to put this into practice until after the next fucking election.
Yep.
Like, honestly, I don't like the Labour Party. I fucking hate the Labour Party. But they're basically all that we've got as the bulwark at this point until something else arises to stop the fucking gigantic right wing in this country from destroying it, right? Like, they are literally the fucking pathetic, like fucking a singular sandbag against a fucking tsunami, like, coming towards us of right-wing fucking populism. And I you know what? I kind of don't want Nigel Farage to be Prime Minister. And so at the very least, I would like social care to get fixed. Because not only would it mean that at least something would have been successful in the next 5 years, but also it means that people won't have to deal with a shitty fucking social care system. And people have time to wait until these people have finished their commission to input. And then what if they lose the fucking election 2029? Farage will come in and go, well, all that commission stuff you did, fuck that. We're just going to fucking privatize it all.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. This is the Liberals betraying you. Simple.
Do not trust the Liberals. They will betray you.
They will betray you. Yeah, they will do nothing. And literally, this is just... this isn't even a talking shop. This is kicking it into the long grass. Because when the report gets brought out, no one will really mention it. And it's then up to the government whether they want to do literally anything to implement any of those changes.
Yep.
So we'll probably see nothing about this at all. They will change nothing, and then the people who are fucked over by this will look for an alternative. Because they're not voting for Labour at the next election. This decision, just like how the winter fuel payment threw hundreds of thousands of votes away, the two-child benefit thing threw votes away, this is throwing votes away. They're just throwing votes away left, right and centre for people who will never vote for them at the next election. And then they'll wonder why no one wants to vote for them.
But have you considered, Kevin? Have you considered... It's not an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not an issue. I'd love to talk to him again. Because, again, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Genuine. I think his heart's in the right place, but his fucking head isn't. Clearly.
Also, I would like to, on the subject where one of the things that West Street is talking about fixing the door, Foundation's done one of the door fixing plans for the NHS that West Streeting has got. I've just messaged you a clip in Twitter.
Okie doke, let's have a cheeky little look at
I agree, El Nico man, thank you for the bits.
At his door fixing policies.
So his door fixing policy is just have a fucking app, right? It's the NHS app, and
has this been cleared by a Quango or not?
Yeah, I mean it's the Helena Quango, the Helena Alliance. Yeah, and this is Dr. Philip Banfield, who's the chair of the British Medical Association, essentially just calling West Streeting a fucking idiot.
Let's go.
You know, this isn't really about waiting list targets. It's about getting those who need treatment treated. You know, it would be great if everyone had access to this digital world, but of course the most vulnerable don't have access to any of the basics of the world that you and I enjoy, let alone a tablet.
Yeah, people, I've had this for ages when they're going about, you get a cheaper payment if you pay online. Well, so basically old people are fucked. Because they don't fucking use the internet. And not just like crazy old people, like someone who's in their 50s didn't grow up with the internet. So they're less likely to be fluent in how to actually use that. So you're financially penalising the majority of people. Fucking brilliant. Excellent work. Dickheads.
Or a smartphone. And you know, in health systems where there isn't some form of gatekeeping by either a GP or a hospital doctor, what you see is over-investigation, and then what do you do with the results of those investigations? Because, you know, an app can't hold your hand if your test results suggest you might have got cancer, and yet most of the time...
See, this is how you know that Wes Streeting is a robot. Because he just thinks it's about transmission of information. There's not a human at the other end of that who would feel emotions about the decision or about the news. It's just, oh, you have cancer. Okay, well, Unit 451 will terminate in 6 months. Beep.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, he's a robot boy. Yeah.
The test probably shows that you don't have it. It might be a bit abnormal. Do you treat? Do you investigate? What's the next move? That needs clinical expertise, Matthew.
Yes, exactly. It's just, but you know, it's fine. They're going up. You see, I get AI, get the Tony Blair Institute to do it. Fuck it. Get Will I Am in.
Yes.
Get him on the blower. Get Will I Am on the blower. Sorry, to use his correct French name, Will Je suis.
Will Je suis.
You know, this isn't really about waiting list targets. It's about getting those in the
group, just with a picture of a BBC article titled "Man Told He's Going to Die by Doctor on Video Link Robot." Which is dystopian fucking shit.
Who the fuck clipped me saying I need to see Wesley Streeting shooting ropes? You fucking lunatic. I just wanted to check out my notifications and someone's clipped that and put it up on YouTube, man. Fucking hell. Again, I'm very glad my parents don't use Twitter. Very glad.
What's next year? And that will set out the actions we need to take on social care throughout this Parliament, not some point in the future. But I just take people back to, well, why take time a bit on the long-term plan? What I am trying to do is break the cycle of broken politics on this issue so we can actually build the kind of consensus for a national care service of the kind we've largely had on the National Health Service for the last 76 years, because our experience has been every general election campaign has been an election campaign where social care plans go to die. Ask Andy Burnham and Gordon Brown what happened to them in 2010. Ask Theresa May what happened to her in 2010.
And literally, literally, Wes, that's happened to you now. This Quango is exactly the thing you have just described. It's your possibility of doing any social care transformation killed.
Like, if you wanted to do a national care service, just fucking do it.
Yep.
You've got a massive majority. Put a bill to Parliament. Put it through the House of Commons. It was in the manifesto. They can't block it in the Lords. Just fucking do it.
Yep.
Louise Casey says the social care system, in order to work, needs much more money. Will you say that should be in the next Labour manifesto?
Well, I think what Louise will come up with as a reformer is a plan and a set of options on both reform, and she'll be clear about the investment that's needed. And what we want to do, which is why cross-party talks will be starting next month, is build national consensus.
You know, the Tories that are evil and bad, and we need to get rid of them. And if you don't vote for the Labour Party, you're enabling the Tories to get their policies through. You're a Tory enabler. But anyway, let's sit down with the Tories and decide about that thing that we just threatened. We just told you they destroyed.
Absolutely. We're also going to appoint David Gauke to do a review of prison sentencing. We're going to get a guy from Set Policy Exchange, Nick Bowles, as part of our planning reform Quango. It's just fucking Tories all the way down, isn't it?
Yep. It's just Tories all the way down.
On this, so it doesn't become a party political football. And the final thing I'd say is not just actually to you, and you've as a journalist, you bang the drum harder on social care than
Excuse me, award-winning journalist. You have some fucking respect.
Any others.
Wesley.
So our viewers are on your case.
Just to say to your viewers about the challenge you put to us as politicians, of course we have to act now, and we're doing a lot now, and I promise we'll be doing more over the course of the next year, but don't always drag us to the short term. Don't try and torpedo the approach that says we want to build a national consensus and we want to try and stop social care being a party political football, because that's what's done for social care for generations. Labour, Conservative, Lib Dem and SNP-led governments have all failed on social care. Wouldn't it be amazing if we can...
Wow, I'm so glad you're not interested in using this as a political football. Anyway, tell me more about how all those other political parties are cunts. Please, Wesley, please tell me how they failed on this and you haven't somehow.
Good question.
Work together to put it right. That's the approach Louise, Casey and I are taking. I'm excited about it. I think the country should be too. But in the meantime, we've done a lot in the last 6 months. There's a hell of a lot more to do. And we won't be waiting until 2028 to get on. The first Casey Commission report will be next year, setting out the actions we'll be taking.
Oh, so you'll only be waiting to 2026 to then wait to 2028. Cool.
In this Parliament.
Okay, well, Secretary said we must leave it there, but as you know, as you've said, our viewers will be on your case on this, but it's always great to have you with us in the studio this morning, as ever, as you have done on social care.
I would like to say I couldn't give a shit about what Chris Philp has to say. I just like to throw that out there.
Yeah, okay. And then the other ones as well, yeah, who gives a fuck?
It is we've been going for over 3 hours and I am tired.
I'm tired, and I'm tired of their shit.
It's fucking... I mean, West Streeting is enough to take out of anyone.
True. And we didn't even see what I called for. We won't go into it. I do need to see that, though. I do. Oh, shit. How the fuck did I do that? Sorry. Yes, okay, so... good night, then, I guess?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Fucking. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good night. It's been fun. It's been good to be back.
Yes.
Good to be back with you in the new year. And question time back on Thursday
yeah,
as well.
Question time back Thursday. So that'll be fucking torture.
Almost
get
certainly.
ready. Well, get ready. Gearing up for presumably the first highlight of the year for your 2025 wrap up of Question Time.
Absolutely. Let's hope we have some banger moments in this. I mean, to be fair, with more Reform UK representation, you've got to expect we can have some very funny moments.
Yeah, Farage will be on every other week, I would imagine. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Who is? Oh, there's literally no one on YouTube. Fucking hell.
No, I'm sending people into Katie Montgomery's fucking pre-stream, her placeholder event for the stream she's doing on the fucking 8th. There's no one else live, but I'm trying to direct people to Katie so that they subscribe because she's cool.
Okay, well, go and do that.
Stop it. Get some help.
What was that noise? There was a noise that happened. Thank you, Phenomenal Lass, for resubscribing. 50 months! Jesus! That is far too many. Seek immediate medical intervention. Who is going that we can send people over to?
Cosmopolitics?
Yeah. They're good eggs.
It's very, very true.
Okie doke. Go and say hello to them.
Everyone go and follow KFLogan1875 on Twitch and @Ploppy111 over on the YouTubes.
Everyone go and follow No Justice MTG on all of the platforms.
Every single platform. You must do it. It's the law.
It is the law. It is the law. Fact.
And as always, take care and stay safe. And of course,
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Bye.
Bye-bye.